And a big occasion for the Saints and the Suns here tonight. As we saw, the two captains, as you said, Gerard, two superstars of the game. Too often these teams are reliant on those superstars. They need youngsters to come up. Both teams have got some super talent coming through the ranks. Just the consistency is the issue.
What are you expecting from the Suns in the opening 10 minutes? Because there is a potential for a facade. Just come out and tackle maniacally, if that's an appropriate description. Well, but if it doesn't last for the entirety of the match, then Rodney Eade's got bigger problems.
I think there's no doubt what we're going to see from both teams. The tackling intensity is going to be right up. The attack of the ball is going to be very, very high. Both teams desperate for a win. Certainly there's an enormous amount of pressure on the Gold Coast Suns. If we don't see that 100% intensity, that man there may order in the painters for Monday to put another coat on the coach's box.
Gerard, Gary Ablett starting forward.
Well, there's 5 of them down there, so we'll wait and see who breaks to the midfield. But at this stage, it looks as if the great man, Gary Ablett, is going to start in the forward 50. Or is he going to sneak in? There is 4 in the middle, though, so they're going to start with extra men in that forward half.
And a bit of push and shove to assert their authority early.
No, there he goes, top of screen. He's just sneaking around.
He just took off.
Yep. Watches every move.
And it looks like Geary's trying to get to him, but we're set to go round 2. First night here on the Gold Coast for 2015, and Ablett scoots all the way round the back, and he comes in towards the back of the square, and he's just off of Swallow there at the moment. Swallow wins it. Prestia loses his footing. Over the top, Weller. Swallow dumps him. Ablett got boot to ball. First kick. Very quick hands from Harbrow. Prestia, Riscatelli, over the top of Day. Martin can't keep it in. We'll have a throw in.
Yeah, there's a bit happening off the ball. Billy Longer and Gary Ablett tangled in the centre circle as that play was flowing through to the forward half. Gaz already got a fair bit of attention from the opposition, as you'd expect.
Smith, who was taken by Nunes for the Saints, and he's not going anywhere. We'll have a ball up 30 metres out from the Gold Coast goal. Nunes again. This time he got it away. It was touched off the boot. May using his body, but forgot to take the ball. Then he wraps up Sard in a tackle. Pretty good tackle at that. Ball does come out. Still going the Gold Coast. Weller down there as well. Bennell can be dangerous here. Got it to Ablett somehow. Not a bad attempt from the little champ, but it's the first score of the night.
Looks like Jaron Geary is running with Gary Ablett, and he was in really good form last week.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We heard pre-game that Mav Weller was going to go to him, so I'd imagine that maybe just through the middle of the ground.
Dempster just in play to take it by Revolt.
Riscatelli running with Armitage forward of the centre. So nothing maniacal at the moment about their tackling. A little bit more structured.
St.Kilda!
Free kick against Malcheski for the spoil over the shoulder.
The Saints holding their own.
Young Loney off his line, told to go. Wants to keep it on his left, and he can't keep it in play. And just had to return to get back on his natural left and just push the kick wide.
Like the look of Loney last week, though. Sharp mover. There's Gary Ablett. There's the test.
There's one for the shoulder.
Whacked him straight on the shoulder. He's going to get sick of this.
Sexton, give on the up's a good one. Riscatelli, risky handball from him. Well done, Harbrow. Releases Ablett. He's 55 from goal. He steps around Revolt, but Revolt puts a hand on it. It's a smothered ball. Martin got free. Got his hands over to Riscatelli. Standing start from him. High ball up towards Lynch. Fisher's in good position. Lynch gets rid of him. Play on the call. Lynch back. Looked up, had no support.
Well, Lynch, it's been played in the Gold Coast forward half at the moment, but they are incapable of getting themselves a reasonable shot at the goal.
Yeah, and that's probably because of the way the ball has gone. We just hear there is a free kick.
It's out of bounds on the full. There was some confusion. It came off a Saints player, so it'd be Harley Bennell.
And you'd think he'd back himself from here.
He's got a number of options. The boomerang, you'd reckon he'd open it up if you're going to do that, but he looks like he's shaping to kick a left foot round the corner.
Where he is now.
Now he is, definitely.
Left, around the corner, not to be for Bennell.
Just to continue on from what you were saying, Gerard, it's the quality of ball that's going into the forward 50 for the Suns. There's good pressure through the midfield by the Saints. They're just not allowing the nice pass to the leading forwards.
Stephen, Geary, Armitage combining. Back to Geary. So some of their prime movers involved there. St Kilda uses hands to get it to Dempster. Now a long ball. St Kilda inside their forward 50 for the first time. Malcheski the spoil for the Suns. Riscatelli reads it. Flips it quickly over towards Malcheski. Swallow comes in to help out. Down low he goes. He's dragged to the ground. Over the top of him was Sard. Once a free kick doesn't get it, we'll have a ball up.
Have a look at that out on the full. That's an unlucky decision.
Let's have a look at the back heel with the left foot. Does it come off of that? No.
No, it's unlucky.
Quick kick forward and playing in front and receiving it on the chest is Sard.
This is just a perfect start. The first time it's gone up the other end, and an opportunity for the Saints to get on the scoreboard.
So as we know, with Ahmed Sard, he does take that very long, deliberate run up.
That's 15 gone.
But he is a very, very accurate set shot for goal.
Stay with me.
On the reverse angle, you got to look at what is what ahead of him. For the first goal of the night, Ahmed Sard.
He's still walking.
He's still walking. He can take as long as he likes if he keeps walking. And he pushes it right after all of that. Yeah, 30 seconds. If he's moving the 30-second clock, he can take another 10.
I've missed that run-up. It's been a while out of the game, but I've missed it.
You can get an ad break in there.
There's a couple of interesting matchups forward for the Saints with Rewalt. May's going to Rewalt, and Thompson's actually picking up Bruce. So Bruce's performance last week has joined him a pretty good defender.
Kick out wide. Good jump at it by Dempster. He's been good early. Tries to paddle it through his legs. Smith, quick give. Tape, Ablett. Broughton, Messi. Harbrow, that's not Messi. That releases Kolajasny now. Strong running from Prestia. Hard running, but then lets himself down, and that's what Rodney Egg was talking about.
Great pressure from the Saints, though, coming through, led by their skipper, who's just put in a 100-metre dash to put some pressure on. And whilst he didn't get the tackle in, it all accumulates, and Prestia's kick doesn't hit the target.
And he didn't get the tackle stat earlier in the quarter when he chased down Gary Ablett as well and ended up smothering the ball. So great work.
Smith wrestling. Riscatelli comes through. Down low. Over the top of it, Shenton. Gets another go at it. Second time, he drills it and just hammers it out of the defensive zone, trying to get some relief.
The tackle that dragged Harbrow to the ground, that transition was all class.
So he's done cold there and closes the gap. Knows he hasn't got the leg speed, but hangs in there, then lunges just to lay a tackle. Great use from Nick Rewalt on the left slipper here. Misses the target. Well, actually, misses the intended target, but hits Sard. And just snaps one around the body. I think the standard's been set by Nick Rewalt. His work rate up the field has been great.
Fantastic finish that time by Ahmed Sard. Knee sees on Adam Sard. You don't see that very often. Just a couple of change of the letters.
That's right. And we spoke with Rodney Eade about the kicking efficiency. That's well down, 38% by foot at the moment, the Suns.
Dunstan driving them forward again. And that's not a bad mark. That's Adam Sard over Ahmed Sard.
Just missing targets still.
Yep. Shenton back for the Saints. Off over to Robertson. Kept it low. Probably too low there, but coming through Stephen. Sard. Might win a free kick for holding. And it's going to be... Is it Sard or is it all the way back for Swallow? Will be Sard.
Well, pretty much even between the arcs at the present time. The Saints have just been a little bit more efficient inside their forward 50 and has set up some better opportunities.
Sard by hand, risky. The volleyball work from advantage taken. It was Malcheski who tapped it over to Kolajasny. Strange decision there. Well done by Hallahan. Sard kept going, drills it in low. Sexton can't take it. Martin can. Gets up quickly on the left boot. And again, the Gold Coast Suns miss a target.
And operating at 33%, St Kilda going at 67% by foot. Gaz just having a spell, looking to get back on the ground, but just on ice at the moment.
From the throw-in, Longer over the top, but only as far as Prestia, who wobbles it forward for a behind. 4-point margin.
Well, he had the sweeping roll and was unattended. Could have done better with that.
Oh, there now.
Fisher. Good vision. Saw that Nunes just had 5 metres on his opponent Harbrow, and he spots up Revolt, who's prepared to work up the ground, be the next man in the link, and this kick out wide, hoping for Curran, just missed his target a little bit. We'll have another boundary throw in, so Saints off to a bright start.
Well, they're playing essentially Nick Riewoldt as a very tall midfielder. It's where he started his career as a wingman. He used to be the defensive wingman floating across the half-back line, and it's given Josh Bruce a lot of opportunity up forward.
Well, Saints are doing a lot right at the moment, boys. The uncontested marks 11-2 in favour of the Saints. They're getting out in space, and more importantly, they're using it, unlike the Suns.
They used it okay there in close. Kick going forward. Billings gets a second go at it. Tapped it back to Armitage with strength. Handball over top to Bruce. He's caught. Kept it going in the same direction. Going again.
And a good result. Big Tom Lynch looking forward to returning after suspension.
Just outside the forward 50 for the Saints. Day has the height. Down to Prestia. Missed Malcheski. Poked forward by Curran.
And again, we saw this last week with the Western Bulldogs, the ability to have repeat stoppages. And there's Gary Ablett. He is the only man in the forward half for the Gold Coast Suns.
Dylan Robertson would be nervous, you would believe.
Very nervous.
Well done by Armitage to give it to Shenton. His kick floats in. But again, they're doing all the attacking. They're winning the stoppages at the moment, St Kilda.
They are, and just the Suns are just trying to find it a little difficult to get out. There's once again Gary Ablett. He's got a lot of space. I've been standing on his father in the forward half all by myself. It's a nerve-wracking experience.
Kick forward by Swallow. No one home for the Gold Coast. Delaney just a little fumble. Back to Robertson. Nice in relief to get the ball and then just lays it off nicely. Shenton can keep going here. From just outside 50. Revolt in pretty good position. Broughton came in. Sard. He's looking dangerous. Bruce should have a shot. He finally does, just to behind.
Well, Prestia set up an opportunity for the Saints to kick a goal because he overcommitted in the spoil. If you're not going to impact the spoil it, or you've got to either take the man or take the ball.
That's the point, because he actually was never going to get there.
That's right. So it was a bad call. Opened up. Should have been a goal for the Saints.
Malcheski to himself. He wants Day. Fisher stood his ground. Martin.
This kid is excited.
Well, he didn't see. He just didn't see Robertson.
Well,
he did not see it.
He put his head down to bounce, and he lost all vision of what was ahead of him.
There's a sight screen at that end because he just didn't see the jumper. Chance for St Kilda because of it. Billings, little gift to Loney, who just lost it. We'll have a throw in.
He also missed the handball target inside as well. There was a release player on this Jack Barnes. Have a look at him put his head down. He's thinking about the handball, but he misses the player in front of him.
Lucky he's playing this modern era, not 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'd still be picking him up.
That's right.
Armitage. Back to Fisher. High kick up. Tough one to mark. They come in numbers. The spoil is Rory Thompson. So good at that.
And the other point with Martin running and getting tackled, Harley Bennell was in the forward 50 all by himself. He'd broken from the centre circle and was almost a laydown was there for a goal. But again, another forward 50 stoppage. These are wins for St Kilda.
Zach Smith. Armitage first to it though for the Saints. He got some help from Membry. Just got it out wide, hoping someone can run onto it. First to it, Dunstan. Back to Robertson.
Holding. Swallow. Gold Coast.
After Robertson got rid of it, it's going to be Swallow's hold. Swallow's free kick.
Against Dunstan. Good young player.
There it is there.
Didn't need to do that.
His kick, looking for either Lynch or Smith. It comes off of Smith to Lynch, who floats it forward to Prestia. They're running hard now. He's got no one to kick to, so he puts it out in front. He's going to back Took Miller to run onto it. He's still going, but he's got a chaser in Savage, who's got speed. That's good defensive play by Savage. Strange decision by Prestia. All he had to do was lay off to the right and wait for the recovery.
Well, that's right. Ablett was closing quickly on his right-hand side. Had to have the composure to wait, put him into space.
So there's the matchup. Maverick Weller, the tackling machine, has gone to Prestia. He's had great history against the Saints, averaging about 27 possessions.
Ablett, bit of room to move. Core.
Rewold again.
Miller. Revolt just a bit slow to get up after that tackle, just holding his left shoulder a little bit. Let's hope he's okay, because he's leading from the front at the moment, the skipper. You see that? Let's just watch when he tackles. He just rolls underneath.
Yeah.
Boundary throw in. Riscatelli.
Great tap.
Yeah, Smith just put it on his chest. High ball up for Day with Fisher. No crummer there yet for the Suns. Sexton decides to push it over the line. Boundary throw in once again. They can set up.
Again, Nick Riewoldt in the hands of the medical staff from the Saints, just checking that shoulder that he landed fairly heavily on. But again, his work rate has been incredible. Actually hasn't been credited for a tackle yet, but we've seen 3 very good efforts.
Shenton through some traffic, but a lot of Gold Coast numbers here, pressed here. Kolodjasny on his left is a strong kick. It's another behind. 4 behind.
Of kick, Lynchy, while you go around the corner when you can just do a straight drop punt, is one of the more baffling decisions you see of a lot of players in this era.
Especially when you're facing front on the goal, when you get the football.
Then turn away.
And turn to the left rather than going straight. Smith's been good in these last 3 or 4 boundary throw-ins, been controlling it. There it is again.
Good hands.
Yep. Very quick from Harbrow.
Drums at the back.
Over the top. Lynch couldn't burrow through there.
Well done, I think it was from Delaney not to give away that free kick there. Lynch turned into the tackle. Could have been a head knock.
7 inside 50s apiece, 4 behinds, 1 goal 2. Smith again.
Billy Long has got a challenge here because Smith is taking him to the cleaners, getting these effective taps.
Ablett, Bennell through some traffic. He goes around the corner. That's going all the way. That's a goal.
That's touched, yeah.
Harley Bennell can kick those day in, day out.
Well, that's the appropriate time to kick one around the corner because you're running away from goal. You're not running towards goal. And you just saw this young magician produce a fine piece of work. Here's Ablett, whips it across his body and running away from the goals. That is a magnificent piece of skill, and well shepherded on the boundary line as well.
That is a great kick, all but 50 metres around the body, and that's the reward for effort they needed.
Yes, they do get some reward for effort there, Alistair, and that's a fantastic finish from Bennell. He's a prime mover in this team, so he can't afford to have a few weeks off here and there now. He's one of the pros. He's got to play consistently, be at that work rate all year.
Well, if they're not going to be reliant on Gary Ablett week in, week out, Bennell needs to go to another level, and that's around consistency mainly.
Lemons up and down with a nice catch.
I was disappointed that Gorringe missed out tonight, Matthew.
Why was that, Jared?
Would have been nice to call Gorringe and Lemon in the same passage.
Thank you very much. Working beautifully, Jared. And there's the kick from Harbrow. Riscatelli, they're going to work it out here. Hallahan. Riscatelli should kick this. He does. Nice transition from the Suns.
Well, that's the better Baroos.
Much better play by the Gold Coast. Just 5 minutes of genuine top-quality football. And you spoke about consistency. It's going to be Prestiat, who has been pretty consistent in recent times, and Swallow, along with the ones that you've already named, that are going to determine the future of this club. Not Gary Ablett. He's delivered at a high rate for a long time. We know what he delivers. That is a good couple of minutes by the Suns.
Michael Riscatelli, 10 disposals already.
Yep.
Halfway through the first quarter, he's been a super player today so far.
And it looks like he's just taken up the challenge. He's getting to the end of his career, and he looks as fit as I've ever seen him, and he's had a terrific pre-season.
Yeah, good pre-season. That's kick from Martin. Drop ball. Suns looking dangerous again. Ablett. Miller comes in over the top and won it, Miller. Gave it back towards Ablett. Probably the hot man in that contest, and Robertson gets him and puts him down again.
Well, it's a bit of a tragedy for the Saints, boys. They started off so well, and within 2 minutes of football, they're 8 points behind, but the Saints still lead in most categories that, you know, we hold in high regard, so it's disappointing from the Saints' point of view.
Well done by Longer. He was going down to the ground, still won the top, but Presti with disposal number 11. Smith. Not much room for Lemons to get through. He had to squeeze through, Jared.
Nice work.
Smith. Swallow. Now Martin. Now Smith.
He's
Good
been
smother
good,
from
Smith.
Bruce.
He's been a really good worker.
Yep. Now a chance for St Kilda on the way out.
Well, they've got to move it. Remember, he's by himself. He's got to go quick.
Hard running from Stephen. We're used to seeing that. Gets it from the skipper
Look
and
at this
Revolt.
bloke
And he
go
goes
with
back
it.
again for the 1-2. And then he goes into the pocket, heading in the Membry direction, but over the top.
Interesting decision to go the long pass. He had the the handball, the extra handball. Probably made the wrong call there, the skipper.
Yeah, I reckon we can give him a little out, though, because he worked that hard. He was
outs.
probably in a semi-conscious state because he worked so hard. He's been very, very impressive.
Longer won that knock, and he gives his teammates a chance. Armitage got down, got it, gave it back to Longer. Kick around the corner, doesn't go far. Swallow has Harbrow.
Oh,
he just dropped it. He forgot to go with it. Malcheski went past it, off the ground. Dunstan, it's a goal.
Well, that is one of the great soccer goals that we've seen in recent years. Absolute cracker.
Here
It all
it
comes
is
down
here.
to a little bit of a fumble.
Harbrow just drops the ball here. He wasn't tackled at the time, but spills out. Good work from Saad to get the ball moving or get his opponent off the ball. That is a really nice flush.
He has turned that into an inside-out torpedo.
Let's have a look.
Officially known as a Woomer banger.
Nice goal, Luke Dunstan. Man, you played Man City in the weekend. They may play that tape before the game. Wonderful finish with the Woomer banger.
So it comes back to the centre and the opportunity for the two rucks to have an impact.
Smith, just a little bit too much on it for Prestia. Standing in the way, Harbrow. They go backwards towards Swallow. He's under some pressure. Harbrow owes him one, and he flips it sideways to Prestia. Now long, Benner wants it towards the goal square. Doesn't get there. Crummer needed. Hallahan's first there for the Suns. He's got a strong body. Gives it to Bennell. Doesn't decide to shoot this time. He spots the master, and he kicks it to Adler.
Now that is really good team play. He's got the capacity to have us swipe at the goal from that position, and yet he went with a much higher percentage choice, and that was to give it to Gary Ablett. Great play.
Well, we've seen Bennell kick one from this spot, round the corner. We've seen Riscatelli kick one on the end of a good passage of play from the same spot. This for the third in a row for the Gold Coast Suns, all from about the same position on the ground. Just inside 50. We'll get the distance. Doesn't miss too many. And that's a beautiful finish by Ablett.
And well received by the crowd here. Lynchy, who have all got themselves a banner, and they're pretty enthusiastic in the waving of them.
Well, they're pretty happy to see Gaz out there again. Good defensive spoil out wide, but great crumbing there to keep the ball in play. And as you said, Bennell's composure to look at goals instantly, but then also look wide and saw Gaz in space. And I cannot recall the last 45-metre drop punt that he's missed.
Got a couple last week, Gary, and he's got one tonight. Prestia involved again. 12 disposals for him.
Just changing around the matchup on Gary Ablett. Here he goes back there now.
Smith won it again. Riscatelli to Swallow. It's going to be an issue as the game goes on too, because Smith can have a break. Not sure Longer gets much of a break. Here's Shenton.
No, Longer battled last week, so needs a big game today.
Now, Malcheski went to ground when he probably didn't need to, so it's a chance here for St Kilda. Sinclair involved with the 1-2. Shenton back to Sinclair. They're giving up some ground, but they've maintained possession. Fisher. Switch. Got choice of two. First in line, Delaney. Dempster peels off to the right, or he goes in the middle and missed the target, but Dunstan can take it. He's had a spell. He's back out there.
Well, if you're going to have the courage to go inboard, you've got to have the skills to back it up.
Geary.
And that time, the Saints coach would have been pretty nervous. Got away with it, though.
Yep.
Once again, Rewald on the charge. He's really working Steve May over.
Well, that was late contact. Yeah, that's 50. And that's...
Was it touched?
I think it might have been touched, but it was hard for the umpire to see. They're going to give another 50.
That'll be 250. That's a goal, Revolt.
Well, that's against Stephen May, and that was an obvious one where he went over the mark. We see here, now, he makes contact after the mark, which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
He probably thought it was touched. And that's 50. And the second one is from Tom Lynch. He gets involved here where he just doesn't need to.
That's done.
Yeah.
So a gimme goal here for the Saints, and it'll go to Nick Revolt. So the captain at both ends kicking goals.
I don't think it took a lot to knock Nunes over, but
still
unnecessary.
What's he getting involved for? Goal Revolt, goal Saints.
Well, the Gold Coast Suns fans are booing. They're not happy at all, but it probably should be directed at probably Tom Lynch, to be fair. I think Stephen May did think it was a play on and touched, but it was a 50-metre penalty because it wasn't called play on.
Yep.
But Lynch getting involved with Nunes here just didn't need to do it. The only thing that can happen is this, a 100-metre penalty.
And Tom Lynch coming off a suspension.
Yeah.
Been back for
It's a
less than a
double whammy.
quarter.
Lucky to be still out there.
Goal to Revolt.
Just doesn't need to happen. That is a gift goal to St Kilda, something the Suns shouldn't be doing at this stage of the game, or at any stage really. 6
disposals for Nick, and here goes Weller.
Better one from Longer, and incredibly well taken by the Saints.
And great vision from Jack Nunes to just see the man off to his left.
Ends up on the ground again, Jack Nunes, in about the same spot. But that vision, the take and the handball from Weller was great vision, great execution. Then Nunes had probably every right to just blaze away to the top of the goal square, but identified that he had Curran in space.
So Tom Curran to put the Saints back in front. 2 goals in 30 seconds. Curran, 45 metres out. It's pretty straight. It's pretty true. And they're back in front.
This is a good fight back by the Saints. They'd lost the grip on this quarter only a couple of minutes ago. Nice work from Longer, and Jack Nunes has been really impressive in this quarter. He dragged Harbrow down, which created a goal early in the piece. Yeah. And that is brilliant vision and having good skills to back it up. And his teammate Tom Curran didn't let him down as well. Good game of footy.
Just the 2 disposals. Only kicked 8 goals in his short career of 23 games, so a timely one for him. And Alan Richardson very pleased with the fight back.
Played plenty of good football in the VFL as Tom Curran.
That time Smith winning, giving Hallahan a chance to run onto it. He's bundled out of it by Loney.
See a trip here
from the umpire that was in the forward 50 for the Saints, so not the umpire that was closest. So
he was 70 metres away. Yep. He saw it.
Loney.
Like the look of Loney.
Bruce is going to get a jump at it.
Oh,
and
Crummer.
Down in front. The Crummer is Nick Revolt for his 2nd of the quarter. Not to be. All the way across the front, but they can still set up for the boundary throw-in.
Well, it doesn't matter whether you're 6'4". If you're out of position, you can take up a forward crumbing spot. Nick Revolt did that really well, allowed his younger forwards to jump for the contest.
Jack Loney, he's got that weapon with the left foot. He looks like a good decision maker, plenty of skill.
Push forward by Longer, hoping that Weller could run onto it. It's pinched by Prestia. Kolajasny stands and delivers. High ball, very tough one to mark. Fisher and Day in the contest. Hallahan rolls on over.
Bundled over the line. Hallahan in his 2nd game for the Gold Coast Suns after 6 with the Hawks.
4-point margin to the Saints with just over 3.5 minutes remaining. Zach Smith again. Riscatelli getting a lot of the taps from Smith. Handball just as far as Luke Dunstan.
Now they fought back well, kicking the last 2 goals of the Saints. They can't make any mistakes in this last 3 minutes. This is a critical time for St Kilda, for both teams really, but the Saints have worked well to get back in the game and hold the lead.
Well, Mav Weller has come off. He was guarding Dion Prestia. Now no one's guarding Dion Prestia.
Now, Prestia, he's worked extremely well. He's had 13 disposals. Richo at the start of the game said Weller was going to go to Ablett, but that changed.
Looks like Billings is trying to push over onto him.
Bennell's free here. Bennell was going to flip it over the back, and that's what he did.
Nunes, in fact.
Sloppy handball from Hallahan puts Lemons under pressure. Loney's got him. Wants a free kick for a high tackle, wins it.
Just a little high, and Lemons, another player back into the side.
Sard off the outside of the left boot.
Missed that. That was just a gift.
Yeah, Curran decided to go for the spoil, but he could have easily marked it. Miller dives in over the top. Contact below the knees. It'll be Miller's free kick.
Yeah, he's pointed the wrong way. So Curran dived on the ground. A big moment here.
And the Saints with the turnover with a chance. Just outside 50, the kick. Comes in towards Sard, taken by Colin Jasny.
She's a
Handball's
pinball
a
at the
hot one.
moment.
It's a hot footy. Prestia, he's under pressure. Still the Saints, still Sard. By hands, he goes back to Armitage. Got a man out to his left, decides to go long. Membry or Bruce. Crummer is Loney. Loney round the corner, floats it. Does it come back enough? No, wrong side of the post.
Didn't come back enough. But Membry was jumping with his teammate, I think it was Delaney. No, it wasn't. It was
Bruce.
Bruce. Yeah, the two big young forwards jumping together. Bruce probably needed to protect Membry's back.
Love the handball from Ahmed Sard. It wasn't a 2-metre handball inside, putting his teammate under pressure. He found some space and released the ball. Should have been a 6-pointer.
Sard gets a 1-2 from Broughton and off he goes. He does accelerate pretty quickly when he runs, but this is a hot handball. They just refuse to kick it at the moment. Thompson, Tape, Harbrow, still by hand, still going back. Malcheski says, I've had enough of this. You can have it. Kicks it over towards Riscatelli, who's had plenty of the ball, but they still want to handball back in board.
The pump here again.
They're still doing it.
Well, last week the Saints are outstanding at keeping the ball inside. This time their structure has failed, and Bennell gets an opportunity to set up another goal.
He's on his wheels at the moment, Bennell. On the left boot, low ball, Day, would spoil. Coming through Smith, he's not the man you want to have front and square, but he did really well to get it to Day. Poor kick from him.
Oh, they're lucky. They dodged the ball at the Saints. But well done. They chased hard. Billy Longer was the one that put the big chase and pressure. Another 50-metre penalty.
Lemons just gave it back to the man who was closest to it.
Yeah, so just see here.
It's a 3-metre kick. It should never be allowed.
There's just a little high contact. Wasn't a lot in it. Lemons was about to ping one away.
Not sure what Day was thinking there, because A, it was 3 metres, and B, there was a bloke right behind him. It was just a pressure kick, I suspect.
Armitage floats it out wide. St Kilda a chance to get one here. Dunstan kicked one off the ground. It was an absolute beauty before. This one goes into the first tier of the stand, out of bounds on the full. Minute remaining. Saints probably deserve another goal here to be 2 goals up at quarter time.
He had a bit of extra time there, Dunstan. He'd worked hard. It was amazing to see how much space he actually had in the forward 50.
Now Chesky's kick out as a turnover straight away to Nunes. As Jared said, he's been important. He's been in the right place at the right time a few times, but not so clean there.
It's an interesting
Played high contact here.
Interesting observation. Nick Malcheski, great player for the Swans, premiership hero, changed clubs. I think he's struggling to settle in at the present time. He's not hitting targets. He's a little bit fumbly.
His decisions are not what we're used to seeing, is it?
And to be honest, a lot of it last week was a bit tentative. He just wasn't confident the way he was going about his play that we normally expect from an All-Australian halfback flanker.
Ablett told to go. 25 seconds remaining in the quarter for the Suns to fashion something. He gets around and kicks it inside the forward 50. Contest. Crummer was Bennell. First 2 at those Shenton. And he wants the boundary line. Finds it.
Oh, you can't pay that. I wouldn't have thought. He was working pretty hard. Obviously, his intention was to get it over the line, but I don't think he had to dive and stop it. It was a bit tight, I would have thought.
Yep.
Interesting call to throw the mouth guard away.
Onto the grass, wasn't
it? Onto the grass.
Can't go forward and try to pull play on.
So where's this going? Top of the square? No, he had a shot with a drop punt. Oh, he wasn't far off. Revolt doing a great job at the moment. Not what we're used to seeing from him, but he's working all over the ground to help his team out. And some of that help has managed to get his team in front at quarter time. Both sides have been inside forward 50 16 times. But the Gold Coast have wasted some footy, and St Kilda have been a lot cleaner. Quarter time here at Metricon Stadium. The visitors have a slight lead of 4 points.
He's really stood up, but this is the one for me. Longer versus Zach Smith. This is a real jewel.
So a couple of impressive individual performances on world record pace as we go to the second quarter, and Savage gets the first kick forward, and standing in front and getting the benefit of that is Billings. He wheels around, puts it out into the pocket. Bruce leads in the race for the ball. Kept it in play. It's a clever kick. It'll force May to get down low. And he tried to handball to Thompson, and that's how you take it over the line.
Pressure
disguised a bit more.
Wasn't an impressive attack on the ball from Savage. at the opening bounce. It's just great to see a half back in front, coming through, charging through, and not just blazing away, but hitting a target.
There is a wonderful knock from Longer. He got rid of Smith on that occasion. A little bit past Armitage.
That is a big stat. 9
to advantage.
To advantage. He had 14 for the quarter. And that's very effective ruck work. And both boys didn't have their best games in round one, looking to bounce back.
Longer wins that one again.
I mean, that's a good number for a game for a ruck.
Oh, yeah. It's a huge number.
Sard with the spoil. Shenton was clever there. He got free, gave it over to Dunstan, who gave it to Loney, and Loney kicks up very high towards the line. Crummer needed for St Kilda, but May rushes it through for a behind.
Good coverage here. Just going to force a long kick, or the bailout kick short. That's a good win from St Kilda. Good pressure.
One-on-one. Longer. Smith. Smith gets down and just paddles it out, but doesn't quite reach Harbrow. Spinning was Weller. Now Shenton again from outside 50. Revolt in good position, gets rid of his opponent.
Looked like a big shove out to me, but he got away with it.
But great effort. See, the ball comes in. Nick Revolt left the screen. Big shove, let's say, on the side, but I'm not sure you can actually push him over anyway. Seb Tape giving away a fair size advantage there.
Revolt came in, knocked it down in front, but there was no one there for St Kilda. Prestia gave it to Swallow. Membry did enough to bring it to ground. Shenton had a good first quarter and he's picked up where he left off from. Back to Roberton. In turn Fisher. On top over Lynch at the moment. Weller, quick give. Stephen on the burst. 55 out, kept it low. Bruce the target, got him. Good take.
Great reach from Bruce. Saw his big hang pre-game from round one, but that was a confident double foot jump straight up in clean hands.
Your coach is going to like him taking that more so than a big grab from behind.
Yeah, great defence from the Saints. It was locked into their forward half. Ball came out, yet they had the line. Suns weren't able to press through that line, and they get a repeat entry.
Membry went back with the fly of the ball, hurt himself coming from the ground now, but this is the result.
Yeah, that was the courage shown by Membry. The result is the goal to Bruce, and the Saints pinch a little lead here, out to 11.
Well, actually, everybody at the start of the season, I think, had the Saints winless on the bottom of the ladder. Or, if you're a little bit more generous, here's the injury to Membry. Looks like he's got one in the back, which could be anything at this stage. But this is a really impressive performance by the Saints. They pressed the GWS last week, had a good win today. And they are really taking it up to the Gold Coast, who was reportedly or reputedly going to push for finals footy this year.
So the goal to Bruce, and St Kilda get their 5th. All individual goal kickers so far. That's a good sign for Coach Richardson.
And it's another goal because of their defensive actions. They're doing this really well.
Oh, here's Savage on the burst again. He's rewarded for his run.
Oh,
right. 2 in a row, Josh Bruce. He's arrived.
Strong grab. Looked like he had a lot of pressure, physical pressure coming from both sides, and just sticky hands to grab that one. Held the ball long enough. Great work from Shane Savage coming off halfback. Probably played his best game last week since crossing over. But this is a really good grab under pressure from a really good defender in Rory Thompson.
It started with Longer again too. He's another clever tap. Got it down to Dunstan. Savage on the burst. Bruce for 2 in a minute. Makes no mistake. He's enjoying himself. Saints by 17.
Well, I think we're finding plenty out about the Saints right now, and Alan Richardson clearly is having an impact on this group. But what we are going to find out,
yeah, beautiful.
We're going to find out plenty about the Gold Coast Suns and what Rodney Eade has got to work with. It's okay to have talent, but right now they are pressured and they're under the pump.
Well, they've got an enormous amount of talent. The Suns, we're not seeing it at the moment because they've been out-pressured and out-tackled and outworked by this mob, basically. As you said, I think everyone was expecting them to be 18th. They're showing they don't deserve to be down there at the moment.
Fantastic start to the second quarter by St Kilda, by that man there, Josh Bruce. 2 goals. They lead by 17, and it's starting with Longer here. He almost tried to flip it over the back to Sinclair, but Riscatelli, 17 disposals in the first quarter, 2 off the record of 19.
Push out. Tom Lynch just a little frustrated at the moment. Can't find the space. He's been well held by the 200 gamer in Fisher. And Lynch, just first game under his belt after a week's suspension, has played a couple of practice matches in the twos whilst being on ice. But just can't pick up the flight of the ball just yet.
Beautiful pass, a wonderful pass onto the chest of Loney. He's looking for his teammate up forward in Curran, but couldn't find him. Back goes Tape. Malcheski back on the ground. That time he measures his pass and finds his target in Lemons.
And Matty Membry just went down the race, got assessed. He's back up running the boundary line now, so I expect him to enter the game pretty soon.
Thanks, Barry. He's on the interchange area. Switcher play from the Suns. Haven't seen a lot of that so far from them.
No, certainly not quick ball movement. They haven't been able to transition from deep defence. Oh, he's paid the mark.
Well, you pay the mark and blow the whistle. Can you change your mind?
Well, umpires tell you play the whistle.
Yeah, play the whistle.
When the whistle was blown.
Yeah, confusion there. Lynch, Fisher right with him again. Miller came through, clever ball. Hardbrow around the corner. Lynch kept going and could have handballed over the top today, but kicks the goal and goes down at the same time. An answering one for the Suns.
Well, I reckon he got it right in the end, the umpire, because it was a neutral ball when it hit. He was only going to come in and throw the ball up. In fact, St Kilda ended up relatively with an advantage. So I haven't got a problem with that, the umpire. And Lynch, I think, would have been pleased to see that one go through, because there was a handball option. But if you can kick it, well, fair enough.
Back in the team, he's given away a 50 and he's found it hard to get free of Fisher, but he gets a goal, Tom Lynch.
Certainly helps the confidence just to get one on the scoreboard for a forward.
I think he's the most important player they've got, away from the great man Gazza.
Oh, if they're remotely going to challenge for finals, they need another big year from Tom Lynch.
Yep. Hallahan gets a pretty tough bounce. Dunstan tapped it down to Savage again.
Just lacked a bit of composure there, Swallow. He wasn't under pressure and he just whacked it round the corner.
May ran himself into trouble, but managed to find Broughton. And Smith let it go there. Said, you can take that. And Martin does so.
He looks dangerous, Martin. He's one I don't think they've got a genuine matchup for. He's been involved in the last goal, and he looks to be that hit-up player that generally is a position or a role played by someone much bigger.
2-on-1 situation. Fisher wins it. Numbers went out for the Saints. Down to Sinclair.
Oh, Rewalt wants it long.
And just a little bit low. Didn't get enough on it. Rewalt at the back. Tape. Got him.
That's a goal-saving tackle by Tape. Quick hands, that have been able to be released. That was a genuine shot at goal. Rodney, you'd be thrilled with this.
Yeah, good tackle.
Great tackle.
Can't run through the mark, straight back.
Now back for Tape to restart.
Move on, play on.
Martin caught over the back. Ablett trying to put a boot in there. Weller, Sinclair. The bounce. Hands it back to Fisher. Kicks it up high. Rewalt and Tape again, but somehow falls from Membry at the back. Seen that a couple of times with St Kilda. Not the man in the front, falling over the back on the chest.
That's right, and the three bigs are causing a few concerns for the defence of the Suns. They've had to play Tape on Rewalt, and that's probably a combination of someone that can actually run with him, and the fact you've got Membry up there as well, and Bruce. So Thompson and May have got their hands full, and Tape certainly has with Rewalt.
Couple of goals last week. First goal of the year, in fact, for St Kilda in the opening quarter. And you get that margin back to 17. 35 metres out, slide angle. It's always a little bit shallow wrong side of the post from him.
What we're not seeing from the Gold Coast, and it's something that I think was one of their stronger traits last year, is good transition. They're really struggling to take the ball from deep in defence, connect it all up and get it inside their forward 50.
You're right, and I think that was a strength last year. And you think they added more ball carriers to that half-back line.
Well, here we go again. I mean, that is just a non-thinking kick.
Well, I think they've put Malcheski back there as well, one of the better ball distributors in the competition.
Dempster's kick in. There was numbers there for the Suns.
Oh,
and there's Malcheski. You just mentioned him. On cue, he kicks it straight
they got
to
numbers
Fisher.
everywhere forward.
2 balls out of their defensive 50, straight to St Kilda. It'll be a free kick.
Borderline. I think they'll let him get away with that.
But we are coming back to the major problem, and that is Malcheski has butchered the ball just after, I think it was Sexton also knocked it straight back to them. In fact, it was Lemons.
Straight to him.
So it's a big issue, whether it's decision-making, whether it's pressure, it doesn't matter. The effect is the Saints are winning this battle, and they're winning it because they're getting these repeat entries.
Right behind Jack Nunes from 50. And he just sets it to the top of the square for someone to run at it. Maybe Bruce. Ball over the back. Through the legs it goes. Armitage, so strong in this situation. Fishes it out. Gets it over to Weller. Weller goes back to Sinclair. A fumble. Could be costly. Still going. Got a call. And the call was from Shenton, but the smother came from Prestia.
We've seen that more often this year, that pulled shot from 50, 55. I haven't seen it work once. I think once last week it might have worked, but rarely do we see it.
Saw Port Adelaide execute it beautifully once last week, but I think the numbers are running at 1:15.
They may have to tell the forwards they're going to do it.
Armitage was dumped as he kicked it. There's a fumble from Martin.
Holding.
Back to Martin.
Okay, let's see if they can execute a number of possessions and string some metres gained together.
Well, they might run themselves into a bit of trouble here. Adam Sard.
It's just really
there we go again. This is amazing.
And St Kilda should make them pay here. And they do. Incredible. On the end of it was Sard. Goal, Saints.
Brilliant work by Saints. Just great pressure. Rodney knows that this game is fast slipping away because they are going down in the mind at the present time, the Gold Coast. They've lost a lot of confidence. Good players are making horrible mistakes.
That's right. And as we spoke about when Bruce got a goal earlier in this quarter, it's the result of their defensive structures and their pressure. And that investment in the first term is resulting in these horrible errors off half-back, which we thought was going to be a strength of the Suns this year.
That was dig, set, spike.
Yes, it was.
Bennell dug himself into a hole. Set was from Loney, spike from the skipper, and the goal to Sard.
So is it a change of personnel scenario, Lynchy? Because confidence is well down in that defensive area. Do they put a pressure down there? Do they put a Swallow down to get a genuine architect off halfback?
I think they might have to put a Swallow down there to add some steadiness across halfback.
Lynch up and down. Miller with pace kept it going. And the boot from Dempster sees it over the line. And they're leading by 18 points at the moment. You get the feeling St Kilda, the feel as though they've got 2 or 3 more in them.
Yeah, and they've narrowed the gap. I mean, there was a big discrepancy as far as possessions were concerned at quarter time. That's been narrowed, just minus 9 now, the Saints, but well up in this term.
Sinclair getting some footy. Touched off the boot. Going again.
And as a St Kilda supporter, you'd be wrapped with what you're seeing. You're seeing effort, and that's what you want. You want effort, and you want hope, and there's enough young class coming through to give you that hope. And you know you can get through in the short term with the effort that we see here.
Knock was won by Day. Kick up and under from Harbrow. Strong attack on the footy from Martin. Rose by Sexton. Lynch. 2-on-1 wins out. Lynch wants the free kick, but Dunstan saves the day for St Kilda.
He just hasn't quite got the handle yet, Tom Lynch.
And the other move that's been made by Alan Richardson is that Weller has gone on to Rishatelli. And Rishatelli, who had a world record 17 possessions in the first term, has had just 2 in this term.
Yeah. And that was a mark that Tom Lynch would have eaten for breakfast last year. He was well clear, just didn't quite take it in.
Quick hands, Harbrow. Malcheski hasn't got a lot of room to move. Hallahan, good man for that situation. Harbrow, Day, turns quickly. Lynch to go again. Good spoil from Shenton with courage.
Probably unlucky not to get a free kick in the end. They're out here.
Geary, by hand over the top. Savage has a very long leg.
Well, she doesn't want advantage because you've got no one to kick to.
And he has to kick it up high and towards the boundary. Thompson should get there first for the Gold Coast. Can pat it back, and he does. Well, Broughton by hand. It's going to come back in pretty quickly. May, big Stephen May down the line. Lynch on a lead, dropped it. He's having a shocker, Lynch.
That's a little reckless, I would have thought.
Almost a free kick against Sexton. Geary, Kolajasny. Prestia, just his second disposal of the quarter. Broughton a fumble. But just the pressure from St Kilda causing the Suns to look up and fumble.
The Suns need to take the pace out of the game somehow. Need to hit a target and slow down.
Free kick against Lemons.
The game's running away at the moment. They need to slow this game.
Advantage.
Well, if they call advantage here, he's got 50. There's a 50-metre penalty. They're starting to implode here, the Suns. This is a massive issue. Lack of discipline, lack of intensity in the Saints. The young Saints are showing them up at the moment.
Well, it is the young Saints, and you speak about Jack Stevens, only the 6 disposals. He's their best midfielder. They're not having to rely on guys like this. It's the younger brigade that's really shining through at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, great leadership from their experienced players, but absolutely there is players that have just come into this side and they're doing a great job. Shenton's been good, Armitage, Dunstan's a class act and working hard. You go through the whole list.
So one of the 4 Jacks was Jack Billings from inside 50. Just floats it across the front, but it's too easy, or is it a push? It's too easy.
That's far too easy. The defensive coach for the Suns may have just put a hole in the plaster. To think you shouldn't take contested marks on the goal line.
He's got to think this through. Once you make your decision, make a strong decision and back yourself in.
Left foot check side for his 3rd goal of the quarter. Backs himself. Fantastic finish.
There's a bit happening off the ball.
Well, this is just a great passage of play by the Saints, and it's a really good quarter.
Well, look at this mark here.
Thrilled. Yeah, there's a nice touch in the back there. I think the Gold Coast would want that explained why that wasn't paid, but nevertheless, you've got to take your option, your opportunities, and that's exactly what he has done. That's not their issue, the Gold Coast. Their issue is they're being well beaten in every aspect of the game.
Well, as we mentioned before the game, he played his early football down back. He's gone forward here. 2 goals last week, 3 goals already before half-time this week. He's loving it.
He's absolutely loving it. You sleep better when you play full forward, I can assure you, compared to full-back.
And what he has done is release Nick Riewoldt to play further up the ground, and he's working Stephen May over.
Miller and Shenton, good battle there. Fisher came in to help out. Shenton's...
Oh, well done.
Got boot to ball, did okay because Lynch had his arm. Fisher's kick is a good one. In comes Curran. Almost. Sard pinched it. Missed tape. Longer. And numbers went out for St Kilda, and they're just more desperate at the moment. They just want the footy. Robertson. It ends up over to Sinclair, who got it from Weller. Handball's just a little bit short. Numbers in the middle for the Suns, but it comes out towards Weller, and they're still running forward if he can get it moving. Chance here for the Saints. Through Weller's hands. Second effort, though. Curran slides in.
Is that legs? That's legs again.
Yeah.
Advantage taken by Dylan Robertson. Bang! Goal St Kilda. They're out by 5 goals.
We won't need to get a microphone into the Suns rooms at half-time. We'll be able to hear Rodney Eade's address, I would have thought. Again, to reinforce it, outworked. It was an unlucky free kick against Zach Smith here. He goes to ground, but
it's a free kick.
It's a free kick. It's an obvious free kick under the interpretation of the rules that we know now. And then the ball spills out, and a great goal from Robertson.
Yep.
Under a little bit of pressure, but had enough time to straighten up. Straight over the umpire's hat. Great goal.
Nunes involved again. Robertson the finish. There's Dylan.
Geez, they've been hungry, the Saints.
They're just hungrier. Yeah, as simple as that.
So much harder at the ball, across the ground. It's paying dividends.
Really on top in the second quarter, and the 2 men they've shut down are right there. Riscatelli and Prestia. 31 disposals between them in the first quarter.
Well, since the Suns' last goal, they've kicked 1 goal in the last 40 minutes. They've been belted 18-8 inside 50s.
Riscatelli not sure where to go. Back to Harbrow. Quick kick.
This bloke has been good.
It's been sensational, Fisher.
Celebrating his 200th game.
Yep, made his debut back around 2004. They won on that day.
This is for a skilled side, renowned skilled side. Under pressure, they're not producing at all.
Well, there was 2 spare Suns players that ball went over their heads, and the Saints have been able to rebound, find some safety for a few seconds at least, and that's
another great take by Josh Bruce.
Be happy with the drafting of this man.
Strong hands. Here's Revolt playing up the grounds. We've seen all night. Whatever they're doing is working at the moment. 5 goals up. Still time for more before half time.
What they're doing is making the Gold Coast defend, and they haven't got the appetite for it.
Nah.
They are cruising when Saints players are sprinting.
It's very similar. The work rate appears to be similar to what we saw last week against Melbourne. Extremely disappointing. They've been outworked by Melbourne last week and St Kilda this week.
Kick in from Fisher. Big tall timber there for the Suns. Smith with the spoil. Membry and Tape coming through Armitage. Umpire, you heard him say ducked into it and fumbled from Gaza on the left boot.
4-on-1.
Day is the one. The 4 should win out, and they do. Billings, Geary, top of the square, the kick. Revolt jumps, falls into the hands of Bruce, who gives it over to Sinclair, who rolls it through. What a corner they're having. Josh Bruce with the assist.
Josh Bruce is going that well. He didn't know he was going to get that one. It fell on his arms. And then he's handballed the ball out. Now, here again, they were outnumbered because they worked hard to set up their defensive structures. And this is a dangerous kick. It's flat, it's long. Great contest from Revolt. And what about the way Sinclair's
first goal in AFL footy.
Thought his way through this. Knew that a big snap over the head was going to get smothered. But the little dribbler has worked beautifully.
Well, that's his first goal in AFL footy. We'll call him, what do we call him, the Jack of Diamonds. That was a little diamond, that goal. There's 4 Jacks out there. He's one of them. And they now lead by 36 points. Rodney Eade has got plenty to think about. Alan Richardson doesn't want half-time to ever come.
Well, in this term, it's 14 inside 50s. Make that 15 inside 50s to 6.
Yeah, the Suns are looking for a timeout.
Gary Ablett just had 2 possessions. Richard Talley's been well held. Swallow well held. Prestia also well held. Harbrow's one of the few players who is getting his hands on the ball.
Just the confidence now from St Kilda. They're just toying with it.
And with that confidence, they're running in numbers to support their teammates. So they're outnumbering the Suns at the contest.
Armitage surveys what's up forward. Keeps it low. Hoping for longer. He's back on it pretty quickly. He's got to beat 2. Revolt came in to help out. Saad, Ahmed Saad, still going, Saad. They can kick a goal from here. Gee. No, don't tell me it's Josh Bruce again.
They paid the mark.
Paid the mark on the line.
Was that one-sider? Just go back with a
Just go back and do the same thing.
Don't even think of passing it off.
He's kicked 3 in this quarter. This for his 4th.
A little tighter, actually. He's going to have to step out, you would think. He's trying to creep out.
He's done it. 4 for the corner. Josh Bruce.
Well, they're just working that hard. They're embarrassing the Suns at the moment. We know Danny Frewy's gone back into defensive role. If he's in charge of the defensive structures, he'd be wrapped because this is the result. They're getting the ball continually inside forward 50. He's had control of that, so that's fair enough.
Yep.
Taking it over the line, and again, a little left foot check side. Beautiful goal, but a super impressive performance from the Saints. They're the story.
4 goals for the quarter for Josh Bruce. Still 5 minutes remaining. Time for more for him. But this game can be over by half-time.
Well, they've got the bookends just dominating. Sam Fisher and his 200th is killing them in defence. He's had 11 touches this quarter. And Josh Bruce, in combination with 2 or 3 others, is slaughtering them inside 4.
Well done.
Playing with them.
Dunstan on the outside. Savage kept going. Gave it up. Adam Saad to Ablett.
Need a response from the Gold Coast.
Switches into the middle.
That's 50.
Downfield to Day.
Doesn't go anywhere, really.
No, next switch is over to Harbrow.
Now, this is the test for both teams now. The Saints have got to get it back and assist.
But once again, they're getting outnumbered because they're working harder.
And that's exactly, when they're tired, they still work defensively.
There's only one way the Saints, the Suns can get back into this, and that is work hard in defence and transition. They've got to get numbers inside their forward 50 as well. And if all they're doing is sitting it back across that half-back line looking for a cheap possession,
but do
they're going to get really embarrassed.
Do they, to start with, have to take the sting out of this game? Do they have to slow things down, get possession and slow the tempo and take the pace out of St Kilda? St Kilda just want this to go flat out at the moment because they're belting the Suns.
Well, St Kilda are doing exactly what we thought Gold Coast were going to do. They had a tough week in the track. They were very disappointed about round one. We thought we were going to response. St Kilda doing exactly what we thought Gold Coast were going to do. And
free kick in the ruck contest here again. And remember that the Saints have had a short break. It's only round 2, of course, but a short break and a travel. They wouldn't have been able to do much work during the week.
7 goals to 1 for this second quarter. Josh Bruce has kicked 4 of them.
Fisher's had 12 out of defence for the quarter.
Armitage is at 10 through the middle.
Working extremely well.
And they're much more efficient, aren't they?
They're using the ball a lot better. They know when to take on the attacking kick into the corridor. They're operating 75% by foot in this quarter. The Suns are 60.
And Swallow just hacks that out of mid-air, kicks it out of bounds on the full. So the bad news continues.
And when things aren't going your way, those sort of things happen.
Armitage again. Gold Coast Suns fans stunned, very quiet. The few St Kilda fans that are here are going to be very vocal come halftime siren. And there's a drop mark by Sape, and it should cost them.
That was
by Tape, I should say.
Essentially an uncontested grab.
Yep. Revolt with time.
Well, this is really ugly.
It was an ugly kick too, but it worked because he found his teammate in Loney.
Going through the motions, some of these Suns players. Yeah, the chase on Rewald there was second rate.
We had time to swing around onto his left and tee one up. It was a dirty old mung off the boot, but it hit the target.
Jack of Hearts, Jack Loney.
They got a full house.
Yeah. Done some good things already. And he's kicked out 8th goal of the quarter.
If there's a glass cabinet, I think they better break it. It's an emergency for the Suns now. 17 inside 50s to 6. They're doing everything right. And here, again, the chase from Rory Thompson. You're spot on, Jared. He was loping through. Now, he probably wasn't going to get Nick Rewald, but you've got to put the pressure on so that he rushes the kick. Just not good enough, but typical of what we've seen throughout the whole night.
Well, if you go back to the first quarter, we commented that the chase from Nick Rewald put the pressure, I think it was on Harbrow from memory.
There was one on Harbrow and there was one on Ablett as well.
Which turned the ball over and created opportunities. And
neither of those chases for Rewald were accredited as a tackle or anything like that. They just, it was class leadership.
Oh, they're out again.
Going again. Robertson's got a goal in this quarter. He's got a few mates, though.
Player down in the middle. Looks like it may be Armitage.
Yeah, he's had 11 disposals for the quarter.
He may be just tired.
He's had enough. Sard also working beautifully inside the forward 50 for the Saints, who lead by 48 points as we approach half-time.
And I think this is what the Suns need to do if they actually get possession. They need to slow things down. Really well played here from the Saints.
Fisher, what a quarter from him. 13th disposal. Chance for Sard. Crumbs it. Goes one way. Goes the other. Flips it over to Stephen. Jack Stephen kept it too low. Ricochet ball though. Loney got a big 4. Just flipped it up. Bennell. Harbrow wants to use Ablett. They want to run here.
No one forward.
Nowhere to go.
They're going to have to run. Harbrow waits for an option. And goes back by hand.
Elevated.
Yep. Luckily, it was Ablett who was able to get it free pretty quickly to Adam Sard. Now to Tate, but nowhere to go. Now Lynch has got free of Fisher for the first time, and he's spotted by Tate. Fisher's exhausted, that's why.
I think realistically, they've got to slow it down now. They've got to take the sting out of the game. Got to maintain possession, although they may turn it over the way they're going, but they're just giving it back. Too easy. Not just the skill errors, it's the thought process.
Free kick against Lynch. Armitage, another disposal for him. He's up and about and he kicks it inside the forward 50, hoping Revolt can run onto it. Thompson runs it over the line. We've got just on a minute remaining. We've got Saints players that have been involved in everything. Here's Lynch. Getting into the back of Dunstan, and Dunstan's up.
The half-time cannot come quick enough for the Suns. They can't concede another here.
Can the Saints get one more? Bennell in traffic. Feeds it off to Riscatelli. Around the corner he goes. Delaney, and May's gone forward as an option for Rodney Eade.
May's gone forward, and that was a good one-on-one contest. But even there, we saw Fisher dropped off Lynch, and he was coming over as the second to support if the ball hit the ground and was an option. They're just getting a lot of numbers to the contest.
Sam Day has gone into defence.
On Bruce. 4 goals for the quarter. Well done by Geary. Over the top of Bruce and Day. Sard got rid of Dunstan.
He's good, this young kid.
Yep, he's okay. Did well there to get at Malchesky. They got time for one more. They've only kicked 1 goal for the quarter, but
turnover again.
It's coming pretty quickly, although Miller arrives just in time for the Suns. Spins around, got a call out the back from Prestia. Well, there's 2 or 3 Suns there. One of them is Kolajasny. Pushes it wide in front of Smith. Longer right with him. Lynch, Delaney, all the big men there. No small men there. Lynch did a pretty good job of kicking the goal, actually.
He did well to keep it in. So inside forward 50s in this quarter are 20-7.
8 goals to 1.
You're going nowhere if you have 28 inside 50s, which is what they're averaging at the present time.
Chance for Ablett, seconds to go, hits the post.
Again, the desperation just put enough pressure on to make sure it wasn't a goal on the siren. Super effort from the Saints. Rodney Eade, I've got a sneaky suspicion he's going to tear the strips off the walls down there. They need something, whether it's a spray or a reset. They've got to change things up because the intensity is just not there. Been outworked. The Saints have been fantastic in the first half.
They have been absolutely brilliant, St Kilda. It's the best quarter I think they have played collectively since they took Fremantle apart last year. They'll go off pretty satisfied. They're going to be tough to beat, obviously, from here. Whether or not yelling at players is going to work for Rodney Eade is debatable. I think it's time that the players took actions here. Maybe it's a new style of coaching, new strategies, etc. Needs time to bed in. But at this stage, you can have all the experienced players giving all the instructions you like. But if it's not backed up with work rate, and that was the question, the 2 words that we spoke about coming into this match, if that doesn't change, the scoreboard won't change.
Sam Fisher had a magnificent second quarter with 13 disposals. Here he is talking to Barry right now.
Yeah, thanks, Matty. Well, first half efforts. What a fantastic first half it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, the forward pressure, the midfield pressure's been great. So it seemed to be getting it down there and locking in our forward line, which has been really good.
There's a bloke named Josh Bruce who's doing a fair bit up forward for you.
Yeah, he's got sticky hands tonight, so hopefully he can keep it going for the second half.
What about you in your 200th game? Your coach just gives you, big Tommy Lynch to run around with?
Oh, yeah, they don't get any easier, mate. He's bigger than you and he used to play on you, so, it's good. Going okay, so.
Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
He's enjoying himself in game number 200. Sam Fisher, what a player. But he's got plenty of mates. St Kilda fans rejoicing. Look at that scoreline. Half-time, they lead by 47 points. Back to Metricon Stadium, the fans a little bit shell-shocked in that first half. I guess some of them can take heart for the fact that the Giants today against Melbourne were 5 goals down, kicked 14 goals in a row to run out comfortable winners. And the Saints, well, they're in rare territory. They're 47 points up at half-time.
Yeah, well, the Gold Coast Suns are going to have to replicate the 18th team in the competition, GWS, and have a massive effort like we saw then. But from the Suns' point of view, we spoke pre-game about making this a fortress. If they're going to surge into the finals in the next couple of years, they've got to win most of their games. We know in 2013 they won 6, 2014 it was 7. They lost a few late with Gary Ablett being out, but they've got to rectify this. But it comes back to the real basics, things that they would have addressed at half-time, and it's all about work rate. And that's nowhere near the level at the moment.
Yeah, got to win the ball, got to get it out of centre and get it inside forward 50 to give their forwards half a chance. Rory Thompson looks as if he's been pushed forward. Gary Ablett is forward as well.
Underway for the second half, and Longer almost got boot to ball. He's dumped out of it. Armitage, what a second quarter for him. Stephen can't grab it. And Swallow might win the free kick. He was thrown into the ground after he pushed through. And away goes Swallow. Just pulled the kick, so he allowed his forward in Lynch to run onto it. That's the way you deliver into the forward 50.
That is a great start. De-simplify everything. And just get the thing in there and give these blokes a chance.
And great confidence booster for Tom Lynch. We saw that he dropped a few marks that he would have eaten easily last year. Just a little bit off his best at the moment, but this could be just the confidence booster he needs and the team.
Tom Lynch, we're right behind him. 50 metres out, directly in front. No confidence booster there. He hasn't scored. Yes, he's managed to behind.
Well, let's see how tough they want to defend here and how much they want to keep this ball
St. Kilda
inside
go the huddle here, Jared.
And that's right. They're the real indicators, what you do when you haven't got the ball or the ball's in dispute. The offensive stuff usually will look after itself.
Gee, that worked. They worked that well.
They did, didn't they? They put some preparation into that, and I don't think the Gold Coast were expecting anything like that.
Spot on. And Geary got free.
It's only one kick. The next couple are the ones that count. No pressure on Rewald. Allowed to just cruise up the ground.
Well, it's staggering if you're not prepared for a huddle. And you think you'd work through all those. I'm sure they have.
Just back to Fisher. Just working their way through it at the moment.
And I like this for them, Saints. Take their time until they get an opportunity.
Loney's kick just a little bit wide for Weller, so boundary throw in.
There's Mav Weller, former Gold Coast son. He was one of the 17-year-old priority picks. One of the first players to actually sign with the Gold Coast Suns outside the locals.
Longer did well. Armitage gets it from Weller. Got a call out wide. Jack Stephen just missed it. Just a little fumble. Swallow got a hot handball from Riscatelli, but somehow it fell for Prestia. Good take by Martin. Controlled it well. Lynch one-on-one over the back. No one there just yet. Here comes Miller's got speed. And wrong side of the post again.
But he's running hard.
Oh, that's Garlett. Sorry, I should say now. So there's been a sub made.
So those little half chances just aren't going the Suns' way at the moment. But the good thing, the game is being played in their forward half.
It looks like Jared Harbrow has come from the ground and been subbed out. We'll get Barry Hall to chase that one up.
Well, that's a concern because he had
20
a big,
disposals,
and a big second term.
So yeah, he was winning the ball in that second quarter when no one else was. Garlett's out there now. Big Steve May comes on with a big punch.
And for memory, I think he had 12 in that second term, just to round off a really nice first half with 20 disposals. Well, there's
so
struggling there.
Confirmed that it's Ahmed Saad. But
Saad appeared to be staggering off the ground after a possible head knock. Dazed.
Kick along the ground.
Saad still struggling.
There's Saad, yeah.
Not exactly sure what happened. Just we saw the result.
Let's take a look.
This contest here.
Has he caught one there?
Oh yeah, backhander from May. Just an accidental clip to the right ear, and he's just come off with the head spinning a little.
Armitage continues to be fierce at the footy. Swallow on the up to Ablett. Quickly to Riscatelli. Tight for room. Floating ball, well read by Fisher as
Switch
usual.
is on.
Big switch here. Over to Dempster. He's got Nunes going for him. And further afield, he's got Sinclair. So choice of Jacks.
Doesn't mind working hard, Sinclair.
Yep. Nunes in. The tackle though. And he's wrapped up. We'll have a ball up. Tackle over the top there came from new man on the ground. No, it's
Saad.
Saad.
Yeah, great work from Saad. He did enough, but didn't give away a free kick, and it's caused the stoppage. Great work.
So Rory Thompson has gone as the deepest forward. Tom Lynch remains forward. Do you think Tom Lynch would benefit from a bit of a run in the ruck?
I think they just need to get his confidence up, get the ball in his hand, or at least send him out with the clear direction to crash the packs. Get to as many contests as you can in the air, and your job is to make sure it hits the ground.
Riscatelli. And a bit of a stalemate at the moment. Not much happening for either side.
And then if he gets to enough ball, the marks will come. But at the moment, he's dropping marks and he's not getting to too many contests. Certainly started better in this third term, but they really need a lift from one of the dominant players in the competition last year.
Very hard to get free here. Very hard for anyone to get clean possession. The umpire's had enough.
Michael Riscatelli down on the haunches. Very slowly getting up. It looks like he's pretty sore as well.
Longer's doing a good job in the ruck. Sexton a bit slow to get rid of it. Swallow. Martin, back to Swallow. He's got no help though.
Again.
Holding the ball.
Good defensive pressure from the Saints. They're forward.
And the
half has really been working hard to keep the ball in.
Yeah, and the first tackler there again was Nick Rewalt.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing that he pushes up, lays plenty of tackles, although not accredited for all of them, but he's certainly working extremely hard.
Billings kick onto the chest of Weller. They've got a runner here in Dunstan. Wants to move it quickly. Plays on, wheels around, kicks it in long to the man of the moment in Bruce. That'll do. He's going to line up for 5.
He's playing with him at the moment. Stephen May's a very good defender, strong body in those sort of contests, but he just moved him out of the road, protected the drop zone, took an easy chest mark low down.
And sub's been activated, boys. Nathan Wright has been subbed into the game. I'll find out who's got the red vest on. I'd say it would be Sard.
Yeah, I think you might be right there, Barry.
And here's the mark again. Just turns May around and protects that drop zone very easily.
This for 5. First goal, though, for the third quarter. He loves it. What a night for Josh Bruce.
Well played to Josh, but the most disappointing element of that passage was the lack of run from the mids of the Gold Coast to get back into the space. Have a look here now. You can see blokes jogging, including the skipper, and there's heaps of space here that they have just got to get back into. I mean, this is just nowhere near the level required, and it's on the big stage. It's a big stage for the Gold Coast. It's on their home ground. It's in front of their home crowd. It's round 1, and the intense interest in how they responded to last week was going to always mean that everyone's taking a look at this.
Hallahan's low ball up towards Lynch again. Garlett comes through. Lynch just a half a slip. Garlett again. There he is. On the way out, they find a target once
This has
more.
been the difference. Being able to hit targets when coming from deep defence or off half back.
May. It's a clever handball to Prestia. Lemons is forward.
Just much surer with the ball, aren't they?
Jack Stephen, the 5th Jack.
Well, they didn't turn one mistake into 2 on that occasion. They missed the target once, but they mopped up.
Clever kick, Savage. Dunstan. Curran can go over the top to his skipper. Malcheski got on the way.
Well, you're spot on there, Matty. It was a chip kick that he tried to pull to make sure he hit Nick Rewalt and thus was smothered in the end by Malcheski, but he was trying to look after his skipper. Had worked hard to find space. There's Sard. Just resting up. Probably appears to be dazed. A bit of concussion, maybe.
Well done again by Longer to work to the front, winning the knockdown. But Martin gets there first for the Suns. Hallahan forced to kick it quickly. And standing in the way is Shenton, and he wants to play on quickly. Savage roosts it in long. Where's Bruce? Not this time. Day back.
Good grab. Stood his ground.
Again, this is the one. Is he going to be forced long or hit targets? He goes the corridor, aggressive,
Yep.
but finds it.
Good vision to find Lemons.
Now we've seen these blow up in their face.
2 on 1. 2 wins out.
And again,
Overlooked the shorter option. The shorter option was there.
well, it ended up, it was a 45-metre around the body banana kick. That's
Hit home.
not high percentage. But again, that was forced because of the pressure.
Well, they've stopped the scoring from the Saints, but the Saints have essentially just put the cue on the rack a little bit, just trying to kill a bit of time.
Saints kick the only goal for the quarter. Nunes. Good run from behind. The man on the ground, the new man on the ground in Nathan Wright. Into a pocket, hoping Billings could run onto it, but wasn't to be.
In trouble.
Benefit of the doubt, just Kolajasny.
Great chase again.
Swallow miskicked it, but it fell for Hallahan. Riscatelli missed him.
That was a 15-metre pass, missed the target by 5.
Pressed here to help out. Riscatelli again. He missed his target. The Saints should score on the way back here.
They have to score.
Right. If he could have gone to the goal square and found his man, but he went for Revolt. Just overran it.
Had the opportunity to bounce there and take it all the way. They get another go.
There, diving mark for Wright. He's been watching from the first day and said, let me out there, let me have some fun. And that's a free kick for Nick Revolt.
just through weight of numbers and effort is the reason Nick Riewoldt got a free kick now. They kept peppering the ball in there. They were slightly missing the target, but the Gold Coast Suns couldn't get the ball out.
They stunned the Suns.
Continually turned it over.
They had to know that Riewoldt was going to be the target. And Wright had the option of just placing it into space with 3 Gold Coast Suns in close vicinity and another 2 just observing.
Just really like the way Alan Richardson's using Riewoldt.
Yeah, it's good, isn't
It's
it?
just really smart. It's bringing other players into the game, and then he comes back with his courage like this.
Josh Bruce likes it.
Yep, lines up for a second. Although that's let us down as well as the coach.
And it does happen at times, but you can justify that because of Nick Riewoldt's work rate, because he gets up the ground, he basically runs a half marathon.
I doubt Rob De Costello would be kicking goals at the required rate halfway through a marathon.
You're spot on, and he doesn't respond well to a tackle at the 19K mark either, Deke.
It's the best excuse I could come up with for Nick there, but he should have put that away.
He should have.
If he put that away, he puts the Suns away.
Well, that's right, and we could have seen the floodgates open, couldn't we? We could have seen the Suns just try and play out time, and the Saints have some real fun.
I heard a bit of squeaking in that second term. I'm sure it was the floodgates. Maybe they're not completely open, but they're ajar.
There's a big crack going down the seam.
May went through. Armitage to tidy up. Dunstan working into the game nicely. Wider out to Membry.
Uses the ball well, Dunstan.
Yep.
Got a lot of class about him.
Short kick. And it didn't quite make it. Juggled over the line, according to the umpire.
Well, it's 21-5 uncontested marks, boys, in favour of the Saints, so they're just controlling the footy at this stage. And there's Ahmad Saad. He's taking the 20-minute concussion rule, so they're going to take their 20 minutes, see if he was with it or not, and make a decision.
Gold Coast free kick against Stephen, and will go to Prestia.
Part of the concussion test was maybe the doctor asked him, can you read the scoreboard? And he thought he was concussed because it says they're 52 points up.
52 down. Kick down the line. Dempster's in good position. Fisher was there. Fisher almost threw it back to Delaney. Good pressure, good tackle from Riscatelli, and the smother came from Lynch. Something might happen here. Ablett, May, but the pressure again. Delaney swamps him. And they swarm the Saints. There's a bit of pressure, a bit of push and shove, and the Saints closing them down.
Even Gaz can't find space.
When you've got such a lead at half-time, you want someone to take hold of the game. And David Armitage has done that for his coach.
Yep.
He's had a good game, and this is a really important time. They don't want to let the Suns get back into this game. And Armitage's work rate, along with Weller and Fisher and Savage off that half-back line, they've really just led the way for this group of players.
They'll go Zach Smith's way. They played advantage, caught back quite rightly.
So Smith with the free kick, but it's going to take his best kick. He's not going to make the distance.
They might pull one of these kicks to the top of the goal square, but the Saints will have big numbers back to block up that space. Oh, here we go.
And there's no one ahead.
He's going to have to go back in.
So Jack Billings is going to have to go backwards, and he did. And a hit and hope
Oh, top spinner.
that he can run onto it. Membry gets a good bounce. Into goal he goes and misses. Can you believe it?
The eyes just lit up. He had the perfect bounce, just bounced out in front of him. But he was wound up, didn't have enough composure just to steady up.
Saints just a couple of opportunities in the last 3 or 4 minutes to really bury the Suns. Not that it's probably not going to happen anyway because they're on top again here. 2-on-1 situation.
But they just need to put this game on ice.
Oh, free kick, the hold. Just a little bit. Didn't disguise it well enough there. Malcheski. Through the middle of the ground, Riscatelli. Umpire in the way. That'll be looked at. Swallow. Bruce has gone down back. Well, he can play anywhere at the moment. Garlett with the tackle over the top of Fisher.
And boys, if things couldn't get any worse for the Gold Coast Suns, Jared Harbrow, left shoulder, subbed out of the game. He's going to have scans on Monday, so that's really bad signs. He's one of their better players.
Oh, that's not good. And experience across halfback.
Prestia around the corner at last for the Gold Coast. It's been a long time coming.
Well, I think we're all sighing with relief with that goal that they've responded. If you have a look at inside 50s, it's still 4-6. Gold Coast trailing. 38 possessions to 53, trailing. Hasn't been anything like the response we were expecting. Respondees have been the Saints, but this is hopefully the start for the Suns supporters of a run of 3 or 4 goals to give them something to take out of the match.
23 disposals, 15 of those handballs, a goal for Prestia, but it's all they've done is bring the margin back to what it was at half-time.
But it still is 47 points, and if they can back it up again, the Suns, they just need to put this game to bed. The Saints need to finish it off.
Lynch into the ruck, like that move. He needs to find some body and some football.
Robertson by hand to Armitage. Short, Bruce. Good kick by Bruce to the lead of Membry.
Moves well, Membry.
Baz, you're on the boundary line. You're listening to the players coming off the ground. I imagine it's like a morgue down there on one side and a carnival on the other.
Yeah, there's a funeral on one side, Jared. It's yeah, it's terrible. But look, they need some leaders to stand up. The Gold Coast Suns. You've got to lead from the front, and it's got to come from the top. So I just want to see some leaders respond in some way.
Membry had a set shot earlier in the match. It was a disappointing finish. See what he can do from this. Runs out to the right at 50 metres line, or 50-metre line, I should say, and hooks it back right to left for the behind.
1 goal 3 to 1 goal 2 for the term in favour of the Saints. Have to see a response. As Baz said, you need a leader to stand up.
Over the line, yeah, that's just panic.
It's a big no ball. Again, there's lack of composure. We've seen that almost from the opening bounce of round 1. And Nick Malcheski, All-Australian Premiership player, barking instructions, but just couldn't have had any options at all.
Bruce down, hoping for someone to run onto it. First to it, though, Allahan, but it's going to come back pretty quickly. Another stretching mark by Wright. And he just missed his target over the top. Allahan again, this time by hand. Bennell, and quiet. May, down low, takes the mark.
The defensive sweepers are in place.
Delaney with a spoil. Miller. Hopeful handball to Garlett, who runs onto it, to Bennell.
Nothing up forward.
Yep. And he's gone. He managed to just get the handball away. And in the end, St Kilda, once again, closed down the Suns, force it out of bounds.
Two-way running from St Kilda's been superb.
Well, that's right, and that's why the ball's gone over the line, because Bennell looked up and there was no one there deep. There was only St Kilda players who worked really hard to be deep defence to make sure they stopped that kick if it went in.
Riscatelli to Kolodziejny, who saw May on his own, and May should make the distance. We know he's a long kick. Just a question of accuracy. Will give the fans something to cheer about.
Well, they still need to give themselves a sniff and just get back another 3 goals on the Saints up until three-quarter time, and they just go into the last quarter with some hope. But the way the trend of the game has been going, you wouldn't think this is going to go through.
The trend of the game is it's a point to the left-hand side, and St Kilda get it out of the defensive 50 easily.
Nice.
All right, first bit's been completed.
Yeah, it was a good call. It was on odds-on call, but it was very nice. And then we'll just see. They will set up the huddle, and they'll work hard to find space. This first kick will be easy.
Stay tuned. Matthew Campbell will deliver the Tats Lotto numbers shortly.
Yeah, that's right.
No, well, they've got it reasonably deep. Maybe a chance for the Suns, though.
Gary Edward about to return. Took Miller goes on first.
Tapped down by Longer, off the ground by Swallow, and Garlett, the sub, in the right place at the right time to take advantage of that. Is within range.
So a little twist here. Is there a little twist in the tail, Matthew? Can you imagine a little twist?
Well, I think I'm very impressed with what I've seen from him in the pre-season. I'd back him from here.
I reckon you should put one of your houses on the goal here, Jared.
Well, I tell you what.
All 6 bedrooms.
Every march starts with one small step, and this one has got to go through.
Garlett from inside 50. He's pushed it to the right, though. And once again, the Suns missing another set shot. So they're out to 5 goals, 10 now.
And they're not getting their shots deep.
Yeah.
They're only just getting inside 50. We see inside 50 count is 7 to 8, but they're not deep entries from the Gold Coast Suns at all.
Huddle back on board, and they've got the first kick away. They've got the second kick. They're hitting targets, the Saints. The Suns, it's almost been a rarity when they've hit the target.
Gone to Geary 3 times off the huddle. Either the first or second kick. Big spoil from Thompson. Big fist.
Well, stays in.
It's the sort of night that the Saints are having. The ball just bounces back for them. And away they go. Look at the confidence here. Look at the run. Jack Stephen.
Oh.
Right. He's still got it.
Oh, he's got a clip as well.
A free kick. He should keep going. He has been called to play on. He looks up and says, all right, I can hear you. Did have it a long time. Still going St Kilda though. Taken by Robertson on the left. Ablett came out to spoil. Crowd get involved, trying to cheer the champ on, get him involved in the game.
2 on 1 again.
Well, he got it through. The kick was a good one. Miller let him down with the mark.
3 on 2.
Yep.
Numbers every time there's a contest. The Saints have got the numbers. Have a look at the jogging behind Matthew and Lynchy.
Yeah, there's
4 or 5 arrived
Suns
late.
players. Second to the contest. It was 4 on 1 when the umpire just picked that ball up.
Smith wins that one. Took Miller on the up to Swallow, who's worked pretty hard in this third quarter. May went down, didn't trap the ball. Geary. Fumble. That'll probably go out of bounds. Fumble came earlier on from Jack Nunes.
They've stopped to a walk, the Saints, but the only thing they can hang their hat on is the Suns just haven't fired a shot.
It's only been a 1-point quarter.
Well, we spoke about what reaction we expected, and Suns gave us a bit in the first quarter, but it's just proved to be a facade. They need to finish off this game, open up some options, and give their coach and themselves something to work into next week with. Now, if somehow it all comes together and they can manage a massive run on and give themselves a chance to win, well, that's well and good, but they've still got to get some positive out of it to front up the training tomorrow morning, I suspect at about 7 a.m.
Now, does that out on the full? Did he get there in time?
Just got a hand on it.
Yep.
Just before it went over the line. Of course the Saints touched that one before it went over the line. But you're spot on. They've got to salvage something out of this as a collective and as individuals. There's a number of individuals really got to put their hand up at the moment and lead from the front.
Billings, now that kick in danger against Nunes.
Kicking in danger. Jack, 2 metres.
Martin.
Oh, push
There's
out.
a push. It is over the back anyway. It should be a goal to the
He's
Suns.
missed the dribble.
And another miss by Gold Coast, this time Big May. 5-12 now for the Gold Coast.
But they've locked it in, they've kept it in. Small steps.
Well, that's the last 5 minutes. The game's been played there, left of screen in the forward half or the forward 50 for the Gold Coast Suns, but they're just not scoring.
1 goal 6 for the quarter. Good spoil. Probably a little bit strong, and Broughton sees it over the line. He's been quiet, Broughton.
1 goal 6, a 4 goal 3 quarter. Just gives them half a sniff.
Might see that dribble attempt at goal by May on Sunday night, maybe, Lynchy. What do you think?
Yeah, it might come up tomorrow at the meeting, I would have thought too. He's got to run it.
Oh,
in.
that's a throw.
Just about.
That was a double-handed throw.
Weller. Adam Saad can go. He's got a man over the top, Lemons, who should kick a goal. Savage comes at him. Lemons going to miss everything, is he? Yep. Out on the full.
Be frustrated for Rodney Eade. The positive is they've taken control of the momentum of the game, but just not putting the score on the board.
Just can't finish.
No, just can't finish it at all.
Well, they've one contested ball, Lynchy, which is a real positive, but on the outside, the Saints have got them. Before this game, you'd think that's right up the Suns' alley, but skill errors and the pressure the Saints put on have been fantastic.
Yeah, the intensity has lifted from the Suns. They're causing mistakes from the Saints. But we spoke at half-time about their efficiency by foot. The Suns still going at 49%.
Well, Kolodjasny's no pressure there, and he goes back to Malcheski and misses it. So all of a sudden, the pressure just builds up the ground. All right, they've worked it out here today, and he can chip it over the top to Garlett. Probably cut back through the middle. No, he's going to slow it down.
Again, St Kilda set up their defensive structure really early. Good coverage. They've got to get to the far side, the Suns, where they've got spare players, but they can't get there.
Lynch wanted it long. Hands in the back.
Big shove in the back. Just out of Nick Tom at the moment. Just hasn't got his confidence to jump at the ball. Just there far too early.
The Saints, they've set up basically their zone defence.
Yeah.
And the ball's on this side of the ground. They essentially either have to long bomb it to a Lynch, and that means it's a 3-on-1 situation, or they've got to go to the other side of the ground. And you look across the other side of the ground, and they're not working hard enough to give the options. Here's a chance down the line, they get a chance. Now, can Lynch go back and at least deliver another goal for them to just whittle away at this lead?
1-6, one out in the full for this quarter.
And this is a big ask. You're going to have to kick this one from just outside of 50.
That's 15.
Margin, 44 points. This to get it under at 40 mark before three-quarter time. Another behind, another one to the left.
A better kick, but still the same result.
Okay, let's see if we go the huddle, which I suspect we will, and Geary
Where's
gets on
Geary
the end
go?
of it.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Fisher's
Fisher's
just
out.
broken early.
He's played the 200 game card and said, I'm off.
Yeah, there's a free one out here, but he got covered in the end.
Yep.
And because he went early, that broke down the huddle totally.
Yeah. And Matty Ahmed Saad has had his 20 minutes and hasn't come up, so he's been subbed out of the game.
Thanks, Barry. Saad gone for the day, as the earlier sub was Harbrow, as Barry mentioned. Scans on a shoulder issue.
And they're looking at the boundary of the Saints and found it.
Just to reinforce Ahmed Saad, he got a backhander from Stephen May in a marking contest. Totally accidental, but was seeing stars after that contest.
Just ticked down to three-quarter time. So good work by St Kilda. As the guys have mentioned, it's been mainly played at the left-hand side, mainly at the Gold Coast forward 50. But St Kilda have maintained the control on the scoreboard. It was 47 at half-time. It's 43 at quarter time. Effectively, they've doubled their score. Work rate lifted from the Gold Coast Suns, but they've got no polish.
There's nothing on the outside at all, and we've been banging on about it all day. It's about work rate, but also their kicking efficiency well down on the AFL standard. They've got plenty of work to do at three-quarter time to even be able to hang their hat on something at the end of this game.
Saints just a quarter away from a win. They're up by 43. Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, Rodney Head's going to finish up the end of the game, and he's going to look at the scoreboard, he's going to look at the stats, whatever, but the fact of life is they're going to be 0-2.
Well, absolutely, and that's a long way back. I mean, they've had games against St Kilda and Melbourne to start with, two teams at the bottom of the ladder last year. No disrespect to them, but you would think that if you're going to entertain playing finals football, you want to knock over round one and round two when you've got basically the bottom two teams from last year.
Smith was brilliant in the first quarter, but Longer has worked his way back on top in the ruck duels. Great performance by him. Final quarter underway. It falls for Smith. Not sure it was a contest there, but
Yeah, it's a line ball. It could have come back, but it's, I guess, the parameters they've got is whether or not it stays within the circle.
yeah, it stayed close.
That's what it did.
Floating kick forward by Bennell. May almost the one-hander. Savage back. Quick hands. Rockets it back out to Dempster, who forces the kick wide out to Jack Stephen. Wanted to move it quickly.
Good to see
Nunes.
Stevens without that injury that hampered him for most of last year. Running freely again. A little champ for St Kilda.
Bennell gets it from Prestia. He's got Martin in the middle. Spots him. And he walks around Longer. He's on his left boot. Lynch a run at it. And again, the spoil was a good one. It came from Delaney this time. Lynch slow to get up. Stephen again. Good fall for Savage here.
Hasn't he improved?
Yeah.
Really taken on that position across half back.
Curran. He's got Bruce over the back. Spots him. Good kick. Bruce can jump at it. Gets it again. Gets up. Kicks his sixth.
That's a huge night for Josh Bruce. He doesn't look like dropping. The hands are sticky. We heard from Fisher at half-time saying he looks like he's got sticky hands. they're very confident to go to him. And we see here, you said spot on, Shane Savage played a really good game last week. He's continued on with that. His run off halfback's really important. And Curran drives the ball in long here. And that is a very good grab and just gets up easy as you like.
Josh Bruce in this game has stood up and has put the rest of the competition on notice to say, I can play.
Well, he put him on notice a little bit last week when he took that hanger, but this is a much more rounded performance by him. And Savage, he was the steak knives in the McEnvoy deal, and he's proving after 12 months in the system after Richardson that he wants to make a name for himself. He wants to build on a career.
We talked about round 22, 2012, since they kicked 8 goals. First Saints player since round 11, 2012 to kick 6 goals.
A nice just 50-metre penalty. You can just see there. Just in a little late. I think it might have been Dunstan. Came in. Little late bump on Malcheski.
So for the quick answer.
Well, for many years he was a designated kicker from this sort of region, just lurking around the back for the handball. I think he'd put this one straight through.
Although the way they've been kicking, they have been missing these set shots. They started kicking well with Ablett and Riscatelli, and they continue to miss to the left-hand side. I don't know why. It's got different ends of the ground. That one just catching the woodwork.
Throws up a lot of challenges, football. Nick Malcheski has taken the decision to leave the Swans, and he's written a massive story in football with his performance at that particular club. But he now faces a major challenge, doesn't he? Big money recruit. He's got a 4-year deal, and he's got a club. He's come to a club that's in a real hole at the present time, Lynchy, and they'll be looking to him to lead them out of that hole.
Yeah, and a lot of his role is going to be after the siren and before the next siren. How he works with these young players to get them back to a level that is expected of the Gold Coast Suns in 2015.
Great work by St Kilda again to close it down. Geary's running, the kick from Dunstan finds him. If he can get up quickly, he'll have options.
He's played a good game, this kid.
Yep. Drills it low to Revolt.
That's a nice pass. Didn't just, again, the composure of the ball users with the Saints has been a lot better than the Suns. He could have blazed away. He had a number of players at the top of the goal square, but just pulled the kick, honoured the lead from his skipper.
So here's the challenge for Alan Richardson. He's got this bloke, he's trying to get him through another year and maybe another year after that. But he wouldn't want to take him off the ground too early to signal that the game is won.
Yep.
But he's sore, he's had a problem with the shoulder, he's got a problem with the hip, you saw that.
Yeah, slow to get up, wasn't he? Well, we just saw Malcheski, a veteran, miss at one end. And we see the veteran for St Kilda goal at the other. That is the story of tonight.
So the question for you, Lynchy, is when do you take Nick off the ground? Or don't you? Just leave him there?
Well, I think you still go through the process of having the 3 interchanges and not just putting him on ice just yet. But we know in modern times the goal kicker normally goes off for a spell.
Yeah.
Let it be an extended spell and get in his ear, nothing silly late in the game. But part of why Bruce has been so good
that's exactly right.
is because Rewald has put so much pressure on the ball carriers up the field and caused turnovers.
He's hell of a size when you see him there compared to Nick Rewald. No, he's 10 metres behind, and there's a bit of angulation error. Just going back to mathematics that I failed in year 11. Yeah. He's a pretty big kid.
Just writing down angulation there, Jared, just for future reference.
Not sure we'll bring it out again.
No, I'm not sure either. Here's Garlett on the way out for the Gold Coast. He finds his target in the middle in Malcheski. Oh, dear. It's disappointing from Malcheski to just, under no pressure, miss a target, but they've got it back. Riscatelli. Martin worked under it, so 2-on-1 wins out again. This time Dempster with the mark. The help came earlier from Geary. Armitage.
Oh, Tommy Curran. He just relaxed on that one and spilled it over the line.
Ahmed Saad with the red vest in the background.
He would be filthy, Ahmed Saad, missing out on the picnic.
Yeah, he got a couple of goals too. He's playing good. Longer, stolen by Riscatelli, who has his kick smothered and goes again for the tackle. Shouldering arms, Roberton, Dunstan, Armitage. Confidence from the Saints. Curran to Stephen, who gets through somehow and gives it back to Curran. Might fall for Loney yet. It does.
Good grab. Bruce has got a bit of space. If he can get to him.
Oh, he gets around, then off the outside of the left boot, puts too much work on the ball. It's a wide.
It was close, but he just did everything he could to get onto that left boot and drive it in long quickly.
He'll get a turnover against his name, but it was only by a few centimetres. He's a sharp player, Loney. He's a real picker.
Right. They had 2-on-1 here, the Suns, and they went to where they were outnumbered 2-1. Really poor option.
Beautiful work by Dempster to tap it down to Fisher. In turn to Savage. Next in the queue's Revolt. Next in the queue for him is Jack Loney. And he just lays it off, hoping for Membry, but Garlett saw it coming.
Look at the chase, though, from Loney.
He's back on it.
He's hungry.
Kolajasny. Thompson spills it. A long video session, I reckon, for the Suns.
Yeah, I think that'll follow a long session where the coach says, bring your runners.
Tape.
I know it's all about rehab at the moment in football, but there are some times where you've got to make an exception.
Well, and it depends what they did last week. You probably won't do the same this week because it didn't work. Is there anything in a new coach just 2 games in and you're still, I mean, I know this is not about systems, but you're still learning.
I remember when the same bloke took over the Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of horrible beltings early. They played off in the grand final.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 goal 2 for Tom Lynch. It hasn't been his night. It's good to see him back out there, but he's got pretty high standards. He'll be disappointed. He's been well beaten, but he kicks truly this time, and it's a rare goal for the Gold Coast.
And in many ways, Matthew, your thoughts on he's got high standards is what Rodney Eady's going to rely upon. Each and every individual out there going home and assessing where they're at in their footy life and just asking themselves, what do I want to have as my trademark? Because right now we're seeing rubbish.
That's right, yeah, nowhere near the standard, but yeah, good to see Tom Lynch still presented on that lead. Hasn't been grabbing them so far tonight, but good to go back and kick one.
7 disposals for his 2 goals.
And this, as much as anything, is about preparation for round 3.
Yeah.
And to get something to actually to hang your hat on so you can prepare for next week's game.
Clever knock by Day down to Riscatelli, but just as he kicked it, he was slung, so it goes off wide to Nunes. Savage, again the springboard off the half-back line. He's right.
Thanks, David Hall. Thanks, Harley Hall.
Membry the target. And all players happy to see it over the line. Let's take a look what's up ahead for the Gold Coast, Alistair.
Well, this is what they've got to prepare for. They've got Geelong, and never an easy game against Geelong, especially on the rebound after last week's disappointment. Then GWS in Sydney.
Canberra.
Yeah, or Canberra, sorry. Brisbane Lions here at Metricon Stadium, then the Adelaide Crows.
Right again. Jack Billings.
Play on.
Over there to Jack Nunes. Over there to Jack Stephen. We've got 2 more to go. This one's the Joker, and he's the veteran. He went from Spades to Hearts to the Joker. Bruce. Membry's there. Over to Dunstan. Quick hands, probably too quick. Loney. Sard. Adam Sard. Somehow got it through to Thompson.
They're still chasing, still tackling, and caused a turnover.
That's exactly right. They just didn't give up on it. And they'll go back the other way. Just a handball from Billings. A little bit tired out in front of Fisher. Put him under pressure. Garlett gets him from Martin. One-on-one situation here. Lynch has turned him inside out. Going to line up for his 3rd. And he gets a little bit back in the last quarter, does Tom Lynch.
Well, they finally got a couple of turnover goals, which allows them to look back and say, okay, if we apply some pressure, we're going to be able to create some goals and some goal opportunities. Lynch here has a look inboard. There was a player there who was prepared to take it on, and fair enough, had a pretty well straight shot at goal.
They don't have to watch the tape of the St Kilda side, how they got a majority of their goals, and that was from pressure, and didn't matter whether you're the oldest player on the list or the youngest.
2 in a row, a rarity for the Gold Coast, and both of them for Tom Lynch. It's been since the first quarter since they've kicked 2 in a row. Longer again the win. Stephen, tough one for Revolt. Ricochets back for Broughton. May, Ablett, chase from Bruce. Ablett kicks it to the true centre forward position.
Good grab.
Very good grab. This time it's right.
He's been good.
Yeah, shown some things since he's come on
into the game.
As he says that, he kicks it straight back to the Gold Coast.
Hasn't done a lot wrong.
Now Chesky decides to go off the ground. That's not a good sign. Back in again. Realised his error.
Players out there now.
Tackle was a pretty good one. Umpire ball it up inside the Suns forward 50. Bit of a run on here at the moment, but scoreboard will tell you the story. They're 7 goals down.
Well, they're 7 goals down, and the game's pretty well out of their grasp, but just still a sniff maybe.
Prestia around the corner, around the body, through for 3 in a row for the Gold Coast.
Well, there's a real talent, is Prestia, and he had plenty of touches in the first half, but it just wasn't enough collective effort by the Gold Coast for even their high possession winners really to have much effect other than racking them up on the scoreboard. But I mean, this is just genuine talent, and this is why the expectation is relatively high. But Gold Coast is able to stop talking about finals and flags from the top right down to the bottom. Just worry about a contested performance.
Yeah, that was just individual talent, wasn't it? It's not seeing great team performance here, but Prestia finishes off nicely. So a little bit of respectability on the scoreboard here.
Just starting to sneak themselves in front on the contested possessions, inside 50s, a couple of key indicators just starting to turn. I think partly that may be because St Kilda have put the queue in the rack to a certain extent.
Well, good running here, though. Haven't given up on this one. Geary's kick out wide to Dempster, who drills it low to Bruce.
Good pick.
Beautifully picked up. He's got half a dozen goals. Sexton, he's searching for 7, Bruce. Tate.
He's lucky under the new interpretation to get away with that one, Sexton.
Miller. Bennell in trouble. Broughton, likewise.
Elbow to the
put the fend
face,
up.
I would have thought.
Armitage. Back to Swallow. Bennell. Slow motion. Swallow decides to do it himself and kick it long into the pocket, hoping for Martin to jump at it. Shenton wants the boundary. Martin didn't want it to get there, and it does.
Actually, I just mentioned that I felt the Saints put the queue in the rack. Here's the fend off. Oh, it just slips up. Nothing in that. But the Saints, defensive, still working extremely hard. They are working hard. Just probably going to give a little bit of credit to the Suns to work their way back into this quarter.
Good handball by Smith to get it to Riscatelli. Squeezes it out. Still in play. Lynch pats it back, hoping for something to happen. Garlett hits the post. That might have got the crowd on their feet a bit because they've got him within 4.
Yeah, that would have started to narrow the gap a lot. And then you flick back to all their errant shots in the third term as well.
Third term, yeah. Swallow to the bench. A little bit sore.
This is sometimes a trap when you slow the ball down. It almost is a signal to stop running, stop pressuring.
And that's not the way they've controlled the game.
No.
It has been that faster tackles.
Been electric the whole night.
Yeah, the Suns were the ones that had to take the pace out of the game at certain stages.
Well, here's some attack. Here's some run. Right. Beautifully done. Ran a long way with the footy.
Run 40.
He's run a long way, but he's pushed it out in front. Membry's there. Loney's going to arrive. Tate soccers it clear. Ablett one-on-one with Billings. Experience the youth.
Well done, Jack
Youth
Billings.
wins out in that case. Forces the error from Miller. Goes back. Got a man in the middle in Malcheski. Missed him. Oh, nicely done, Dunstan. Will get onto his left and try and force it off. Ball spills free, holding the ball.
Well, they've lifted finally, the Suns. It was way too late for the coach's view. I mean, still, if they got everything right, they can press.
May, some tight bodies out there, not a lot of run for him. The sub in Garland. He's done some useful things that's coming on, like right for St Kilda. Forced to kick it up high. Should suit Fisher or Dempster. Dempster the spoil. Martin went without it. Somehow Bennell got it out wide. Riscatelli hoping. No one home.
They can rebound here if they go quickly.
No, they want to slow it down.
And they're entitled to slow it down. They've worked the hardest. They're out of fuel. And they're entitled just to chop this ball around and kill some time.
Weller, just a little fumble there.
A couple of mistakes.
Yeah. Bennell spots a man on a lead in Hallahan.
Straight shot here brings it back to 29 points.
Still a long way to go.
Just thought I'd raise that, Jared.
But what it does do, it at least
Have to
puts
look at me like that.
a little bit of respectability on the scoreboard.
And again, as
but
we
it's
were saying
false
before.
respectability.
Oh, that's right. They've been well and truly outplayed when it counted.
Hallahan for the goal. It'd be 4 in a row. For the Gold Coast. Holds its line, and they're within 5 goals.
Well, you've got to turn it around somewhere. And even if it's just winning a quarter, that is something. It's a positive. And I'm sure that's what Rocket would have said at 3/4 time. Give us something positive. And winning a quarter may be the only thing. They go down to Geelong next week. It may be this 15 minutes that gives them a little bit of self-belief that they can work on and build on through training that gives them a competitive chance next week. But this isn't wasted.
Still nice and calm, Alan Richardson, as he should be, even though the crowd have at least got some voice going, given that the Gold Coast have kicked 4 goals in a row and they're within 29. Another 4 or 5 minutes would be handy for them for the miracle win, but pretty tough from here.
Straight back in the middle, boys.
Armitage just lost it. Savage off the ground. Ablett first in the race. And he tapped it out towards Broughton, who was trying to think about a shepherd, and that's a win for St Kilda there.
Stay out, Billy! Play on.
Long enough, just couldn't quite get down low enough. Bennell off the outside of the boot with a check side kick. Goes forward. Right. Sexton got a hand to it. Almost threw it over the top to Swallow. And that's a good tackle.
Well, the tackling has been ferocious. It's been top standard right throughout the night. And here comes St Kilda's next month, and it's the Magpies in round 3, followed by the Blues. And they would give themselves a chance in both of those games, followed by the Bombers, who'll be starting to hit their straps by about round 5 physically, you would think, so it'll be a tough challenge.
And then the Western Bulldogs, the other team in the
They're on
competition,
fire.
that is absolutely pressuring everything that's in dispute.
Garland will kick the goal, and the fans are still thinking, still hoping.
I'm sure Richo wouldn't mind his players just getting one more goal, just to either get control of the tempo, but actually impact the scoreboard, just to put a stop to this. Still the best part of 6 minutes remaining. And they might look at that stoppage there. The Suns had too many players in space between the stoppage and the goal square.
Gee, it looks
Jeez, goal.
impressive, Garland. Well, they've got to do everything right. Everything right. They've got to win every clearance.
Well, it's amazing, Matty, when you start using the footy properly, they're going at 71% by foot in this quarter. So it's amazing when you start using the footy properly what happens.
Yeah, they hadn't done it all night, have they, Barry? They almost won the clearance there.
Well, they push Ablett and Malcheski forward.
Rock that.
Bruce to Armitage. And this might be the breakout that the Saints wanted against the run of play. It's been 5 in a row for the Gold Coast. Dunstan to the square, going back. Adam Saad. Well, he takes it on. He takes the game on. He runs away from Loney. 2 bounces.
Great play.
Long ball out to the wing. Spoil comes, or Sexton marks.
Good grab from Sexton.
Oh, Saad kept going. He was just a bit overexcited, and that's a high tackle, and that'll deflate them.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because the crowd was just generating so much energy for the players, and it's killed it.
Well, they got Stephen forward by himself.
Yep. They were away there, the Gold Coast. That was straight down the corridor, perhaps to get it to 17. Day with the spoil. Hallahan tried to squeeze the kick through. Saad, this time by hand, he hits Martin. Now Chesky's running for him.
There's no one. He's going to go long into space.
He's going to hope that he's got a fast forward in Harley Bennell. He has. He gets away from Dempster, gets the trip. He thinks about playing on. Time off.
He wanted to.
This, with 4.5 minutes remaining, gets it to 17 points.
And there's a sniff. Remember in Cairns a couple of years ago, the Gold Coast Suns came from way...
Kicked 3 goals in the last minute and a half.
That's right, to win that game.
The twist.
The twist, Jared.
The twist. This one's got to go through, obviously.
It's got to go straight through.
Just a little uncomfortable in the Saints coaches' box.
Well, they'd be more than a little. I think they made a mistake going forward when they had control on the outer side.
Bennell for 6 in a row. He's missed it.
Left side.
Left side again.
Big
How's
pulls
that?
left all night.
Well, this is all about possession now. Just get it, play on, hit somebody on the chest.
26 scoring shots to 23 in favour of the Suns.
Missed some set shots.
10-16 to 15-8.
Well, that would have got it back to the middle. 3 goals required. And the crowd would have been up and about. That is absolutely deflating for the crowd. And all the Saints have to do here
Just hold ball.
is just maintain possession.
Just flustered a little bit.
Dunstan, he's clear now. They just need a mark up forward from one of their big fellas. It might come in a minute. Weller. Sinclair, he's going to get it. This will ice the game. Jack Sinclair round the corner, gets his second.
They've been waiting for that goal just to finish the Suns off once and for all. Good mark from memory, or actually dropped it, but good positioning. And this kick to a dangerous position.
Hard to believe the shot missed at the other end of the ground.
Oh,
and once again, it comes back to what we talked about on the couch last week about the 50-metre penalty for tripping.
Yep.
It used to be a rule. It should be still a rule. And that one would have been absolute because it would have been on the line. But nevertheless, that's for another day. That side that's worked the hardest for the longest would appear now to be safe, Matthew.
Yes, 2 for the Jack of Diamonds, Jack Sinclair. And that's enough now for the Saints. And they will be ruining what might have been. Still had a long way to go, but at least they would have got it back to the middle.
Well, they started to square up the numbers. Those important numbers around contested possessions. They're actually +9, the Gold Coast Suns, over St Kilda now. But again, when it really counted and the game was on,
They just missed their set shots.
they just missed critical set shots in the third term. And Locke was smashed in contested possessions in the second.
6 goals, 10 for the second half. Bennell with the culprit for the last one. Ablett. Tough one for Martin to mark. Sam Fisher comes through, touched off the boot. Tate, well, he backed himself to grab it and go. Hallahan into the pocket. Bennell, and just enough from Delaney to push it over. But a couple of games for the Saints looking ahead, as we looked at before, that I feel very competitive about.
Absolutely. This has been a most impressive display by St Kilda. It's early days in the season, but if they can keep this group together, and they've got a few out with injury, it's got to be said, which lessened expectations, but it's the work rate of this group in particular that will make them challenge most. Isn't it exciting when you see a group like the Saints, like the Bulldogs,
Like Melbourne last week.
who've come off very low expectations and hit the season running.
Yeah, they challenged the Giants last week, got themselves to winning position, just didn't finish it off with skills.
Plenty to like about this team, and if this is the work rate that they dish up week in, week out, you'd be happy as a St Kilda supporter to go along and watch.
Yep.
Hallahan getting some running repairs. Stephen just held, Ablett just holding Stephen's jumper there. Not seen by the umpire.
Billy Longer come under a little bit of criticism last week about his work rate,
He's been
especially
sensational.
his spread from the midfield to cover the opposition ruckman. And we spoke about how Zach Smith was putting it on a silver platter early for the Suns, as he does there again. But Billy Longer's work rate from these contests has been first class.
Oh, Garlick did everything right. He was away, just didn't quite have possession before he started to run. Martin marks that.
He looks fine, doesn't he, Jack Martin? It's a hell of a player.
Now Chesky's going to go straight up the middle. Miller towards Lynch. Just didn't quite get his jump right.
Might have been helped out too with a push.
Spiral kick away. Membry. Ablett there. Membry has a second go. Curran closed down by Tape. Armitage loved his game. 33rd disposal for him, and Nunes just slowing it down as we approach the last minute of the game.
Big challenge for Rocket, though, when you consider they've started the year in horrible circumstances with 2 losses. They could have were expected to win. They've lost Jaeger O'Meara for the year.
Harbrow could be in trouble. Scans on
Harbrow
Monday.
could be in trouble. We've had one of the young kids, Sumner, retire because he's lost interest in the game.
Yeah, some real concerns. And then Nick Reitwald goes off for the last 60 seconds of the game. He'd be extremely satisfied with his work today, as his coach certainly would be.
Inside the last minute. Armitage still going. Just Stephen very tired over the line. Skipper's gone to the bench. Broughton overran it. Dunstan didn't. And Sinclair just came and got it out of him. Just picked it up off the ground and wanted it more. Armitage again. Right. Jack in the box, right? Spring everywhere.
This kid hasn't stopped running.
Yep. And hits that beautifully. That's a wonderful kick. Lynch got to beat a couple. Just with his foot, just kept control of it. Now with his hands trying to get it over to Miller. Through everybody. Sexton. Lynch kept going and then just dropped it. He's kicked 3 goals, Lynch. You know, if he's on song, he kicked 6.
Yeah, that's right. He had a couple of he should have taken early.
Yep.
A couple of poor shots as well, but he's worked his way back into the game, as this man did.
Josh Bruce, and why wouldn't he have the footy at the end of the game? 6 goals to him, a personal best, a wonderful performance, and a great team performance by the Saints. They're on the board in 2015.
And what a win. And our expectations up here were about, and we heard from both coaches actually, it was about work rate.
Yep.
And whoever dished that up early in the game was going to run out winners or sustain it for a majority of the game. I see Mav Weller shaking hands with a few of his ex-teammates, but he'd be very happy with his team, his current team, the St Kilda Football Club. They were very, very good and sustained it for a majority of the game.
Yeah, it was exciting stuff, and what a way for Sammy Fisher, who's had his own challenges in the last couple of years, to come back and play his 200th game. There is one bloke at the end of his career or getting close to it, one at the finish, at the start, and both were most important in today's result.
And one that we just thoroughly enjoyed watching today. Josh Bruce, here he is with Barry.
Yeah, thanks, Manny. Well, the star of today, no doubt, Josh Bruce. You've been throwing a roll down forward, and you just look so comfortable down there.
Yeah, really enjoying my footy at the moment. Licensed to kind of run, jump at the ball, and don't have to follow someone around, which is nice. So use my running ability, and just glad we got over the line for Chipper. Obviously, it's 200th game, so yeah, the boys did well.
Have you played much forward as a junior? It just seems to come so natural to you.
Yeah, I did. I played most of my footy as a junior, and then obviously when I went to GWS, they got some pretty talented forwards. So plied my craft down the back line for a couple of years, and yeah, they need someone up forward now at the moment. So, yeah.
I'm sure Nick Rewald will be rapt to have beside you, but his leadership up there and guiding you through do's, don'ts and what to do down there must be pretty helpful.
Oh, it's outstanding, yeah. He's obviously a champion of the game, and I've learned a lot from him in terms of leading patterns and work rate. I aspire to work as hard as he does. Obviously, he's probably the best in the comp, so yeah.
Well, what was the focus coming into today? Tackle and pressure, and the pressure around the footy was outstanding.
Yeah, that's our number one thing. If we apply good pressure and apply good tackles, then we go a long way to getting the win, and yeah, we did that today, so pretty happy.
Outstanding performance today, well done.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well, the Gold Coast Suns, in contrast, almost got themselves in a winning position. But the important thing for them is they didn't get themselves in a winning position when the game was there to be won at the start.
And Tom Lynch addressing the players on this occasion. You saw Nick Malcheski, I think it was, at half-time, just having a chat to the players. Obviously extremely disappointed with the effort when it counted.
Well, I'm pleased to see somebody outside of Ablett, Rishatelli, or any of the other top-line senior players talking to the boys, because it's going to need effort from the group of youngsters as much as it is going to take a supreme effort from Gary Ablett, who is really just working back into his very own. 2 games in, 2 losses, season's not over, but it's going to take a significant effort from everybody in this footy club to drag themselves back into a competitive position.
Well, there has been so much hype about the Suns over an extended period, and I think the expectations were, though, if they're not going to be in the finals, they're going to be real close and shape the finals. They've got to get that out of their mind totally, because they've just got to focus on next week and make sure they dish up something that you can take to finals. They're that far away from finals football at the moment. It's ridiculous.
6 goals from Josh Bruce, but the best midfielder on the ground, probably the best man on the ground, David Armitage with Barry.
He certainly was, Matty, and look, it was a great performance. Gold Coast had a little bit to prove today. Did you expect that sort of performance?
You know what, mate, we kind of did. Coming off last week against GWS, we had 3 really good quarters. Last quarter we had belief in our legs and ran over the top of them. Then we watched a little bit of GWS today and what they did to Melbourne, and we just had real belief, and if we brought that effort for 4 quarters, that we knew that we could match them and better them. So that was the plan going in, and we had total belief, and we just had to apply it. It was a little bit scary there in the last quarter, but yeah, it was good, mate. Great win, got the job done.
The guy that's really impressed me is Billy Longer in the centre there. He's just an old-fashioned ruckman. You must love having him in the middle. Yeah,
I do, mate. He is an old-fashioned ruckman. He bashes in, he crashes in. He's really good for us, and he came back in pre-season. He wasn't in the best shape, and the boys really got up him, and he really turned it around, and he's become, he's pushed Hickey out of the ruck, and he's been really good for us. So he was elite today.
You've been around the club for a long, long time, ups and downs, and you've been for a hell of a lot. Yeah. It must be a really good feeling around the club at the moment.
It is, mate, and all these young guys that we're signing and they're committing, and they're just showing on the track that they're really capable, and it's wins like this, and they know what to, how they believe in our game plan, and that's all we got to do. And they were terrific today, Baz.
Great result today. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers.
I think Barry makes a good point. They've only got 5 players out there that played 100 games.
Yeah. Very, very young developing list, and I think the expectations are it's going to take a few years to challenge for premierships again. As you see Rodney Eade with Malcolm Blight, Marcus Ashcroft there as well, and Steve Wilson, the media manager, and they're just going through how they're going to address this, probably the press conference to start with, and address the players once they enter the rooms.
Yeah, you've got to get the messaging right, and there's some pretty experienced old heads there, premiership coaches for Malcolm Blight. He's been through the ringer himself many times. Rodney Eade's been there, been through the ringer, had slow starts in other clubs, and has resurrected years, and that's what they're going to need to do. Start with 1 step, get to the training session, get everybody back together, and keep the group together, and get on with a competitive effort next week, which hopefully turns into 4 points.
Tough contract though, down at
absolutely it is, but
Cat Park.
You don't want an easy 4 points. Everything's tough for this group at the moment, the way they're playing.
Yep.
Absolutely. Back onto the Saints. I mean, you're wondering what players are going to step up, and as you said, Armitage has been there for about probably 7 or 8 years now. He looks like he's more consistent in delivering those sort of efforts. Shane Savage, as you said, was probably the steak knives in the trade with Hawthorn. He's backed up with 2 very good games at the start of this season.
Those knives are sharp.
They're sharp right up. Stephen's obviously a good player. The poise and composure of Dunstan with ball in hand. Yeah. Shenton looks good. Mav Weller's reinvented himself as a lockdown run-with player. Sinclair, Billings. I think Loney's another one.
Like Loney.
He showed a lot, whether it's with the ball in hand or when trying to get it back. So I think there's a lot to like about the St Kilda outfit, and I think there's plenty to go and watch over the coming weeks as they'll give some real headaches to opposition teams.
And down back they had, I mean, Delaney's been doing a quiet job rather than Fisher was terrific in that second quarter with 12 disposals, but you had Dempster, Delaney, Fisher just doing their job, and you know, one on the day or one on the night.
Well, Delaney's an important player because in recent years, as we see, Sam Fisher carried from the ground in game 200, and as we said pre-game, 2 times best and fairest winner, an All-Australian defender as well, and great to see him return to some really good form, and he'd be very proud, not about, you know, so much, you know, his performance tonight, but they can win against what has been touted as quality opposition, and he sees these young players come through, so he can see the succession plan.
Saw him and Jack Stevens earlier today at Broadbeach, and they were just sitting quietly having a coffee, and they expected this. They were not underselling themselves, not trying to shy away from the pressure. They were absolutely expecting to have a crack at singing the song after the match.
And we'll say goodnight. Saints by 28.